Hey guys, welcome to episode 117 of 4PlayerAnimecast. This is the 20th of April, and please do not make
420, man.
Yeah! I couldn't even get through the sentence without somebody bringing it.
Did you guys smoke your weeds on weed day?
All
I
the
did.
weeds.
I grabbed some grass growing in my backyard and just lit it up, fam.
It's just literally just take the grass like Tsukinamito shit. But anyways, this is the 20th of April, 2019. It is the second episode of our spring 2019 review run. So we'll be running through more of these. And suffice it to say, we're actually having, how do I say this? We're having a sort of quote unquote good troubles because a lot of the series that we do want to cover are very sort of like involved. They're not episodic. They require multiple episodes to kind of digest and try reviewing it. So that's a good thing, right? Because we want more series that are kind of like that and more complex series, more varied series. So this time around, we'll still be doing a little bit more series that are on the lighter end. And then afterwards, from episode 3 onwards, we'll be diving into the thick of it. We'll be covering a lot of the series that no doubt you guys will want to hear. Stuff like Magma, stuff like Kimetsu no Yaiba. And we'll see how those pan out in the near future. But anyways, this is, again, week 2, excuse me. Week 2, episode 2, episodes 3 of most anime series out. And we'll be covering some of that later. But as per usual, I am your host, Spire. And with me are my usual compatriots, Dark. How have you been doing these past 2 weeks?
I've been doing okay. I've been starting some new show, keeping up with some shows.
Nice. Anything? Well, I mean, I guess you'll cover a couple of stuff, but how have you been sort of liking the series so far? I've been getting mostly pretty, positive receptions for various series. A lot of the stuff people are, pointing out aren't like terrible or anything like that. But what do you think so far? I mean, obviously this is a very preliminary, I want to say first impressions kind of thing. But what do you think about the new season so far, the spread?
Well, I guess the problem is I didn't watch 2 shows in particular. One that Nier's covering tonight, and I also didn't watch, was it Sarazanmai?
Yes.
And Sarazanmai especially is definitely one that I'm not going to say makes or breaks the season, but it's definitely something where it's like, if that is also very good, then I would say this is a really, really good season.
It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Pretty solid.
Yeah, because I watched, spoiler alert for a future episode. I've seen the 2 episodes of Carol and Tuesday that are out, and they're quite good.
Yeah, I've seen quite a couple of warm receptions to that, but we'll definitely try to cover it.
Has Timberland.
The Tims?
Yeah, the Tims.
Justin Timberland.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll try to cover Carol and Tuesday, obviously, when we can. But with that said, you'll also be doing a little bit of what you've seen, maybe on a little bit lighter side, just down the road, in a couple in 10 or so minutes. But with that, Toast, what have you been up to these past 2 weeks?
So, Dark, are you ready for episode 6?
Episode 6 of what?
It's on the 24th. Are you ready?
Oh, PSO2. Yeah.
But
Video games.
I heard that you didn't finish your Enchanted Forest ones. You should have done it.
I forgot what I haven't finished yet. I haven't finished a few. I think I finished the TAs. Yeah, I think I just need to run Enchanted Forest or like a free field 4 more times.
Alright.
So I'm probably going to bang those out in a few hours, honestly.
Well, I'm ready. I got my light streams and my light stream units all affixed, so I'm ready for that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't lucky enough to get one of those. So.
You didn't get a single one? Maybe you should run more Persona.
I ran him enough.
I read it more than you.
Oh,
Probably.
yeah, a lot of people did.
Yeah.
But
Also, yeah, because Phantom's coming up. You gotta prepare for that.
yeah, I'm gonna have my gun ready.
Also,
So what did you watch?
Also,
Yeah, what did you actually watch, Toast?
Fiend Wars also coming up on the 24th. So I gotta be prepared for that. I wasn't ready, but now I have to bum rush.
So what have you been
myself.
up to these past 2 weeks, Toast? As per the
Fiend
question.
War, PSO2 on episode 6. Also, I started this season.
Yeah, it's
There's a lot more Simul dubs than I thought, so that was a nice surprise.
yeah, Toast
How many
is
instant
right on.
dubs are there?
I
Instant
don't know. But the series that I've been watching, they've had English dubs, and I was like, all right, now I don't have to read these subtitles anymore.
Now you can actually empathize with the characters, dude.
Pesky subtitles, just always getting in my way.
Now
you can actually understand the emotions now.
now I can empathize more with English voice actors because we speak the same language. You know what you know what
Do they though?
you know
we
what
file the same false reports. Wait, what?
Yeah.
we file the same taxes, you know? We file unlike with the Japanese where we don't live in the same country, there's this
They
wall
don't even
between us.
file taxes.
Yeah, I heard Japanese people don't even have taxes. They just live. They just like exist in the void.
There's this sense of alienation that you have when you're watching Japanese anime that comes from Japan. That's why you gotta watch the American anime that's released in America to understand the story completely.
Yeah, I get you, Toast.
Yeah.
I definitely get you.
I don't.
I feel that way 24/7.
Well, that's because you're in Canada, and you
Yeah.
I
I don't know
don't
what that
understand.
means.
You don't speak English.
That's fair.
I hear that fucking using inferior subs all day in Canada. Shake my head.
Yeah,
but
we
I
do
do-
yellow hard subs.
Yeah, exactly. Yellow Canadian subs.
Yellow hard subs are from China. Don't
You mean Viet Thai subs?
no, they're from
What I mean.
they're the Chinese hard subs. I don't know why they're yellow though. I've never watched a Thai movie that had yellow hard subs. They're usually like blue. I don't know.
No,
Whoa!
that's New World. Dude,
Blue
you gotta,
subs.
dude, that's wild.
I don't
But
know.
anyway.
Heard it here first.
But yeah, anyways, you'll be covering another series from there, a pretty known one. If I do say so myself, so watch out for what Toast is going to cover in this episode. And Nier, what have you been up to?
I'm eating candy.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's nice.
What kind of candy?
Chocolate.
Chocolate's
Yeah.
chocolate doesn't go under the candy.
What brand?
What?
Chocolate is a confectionery. It's not categorized as candy.
It's absolutely not true. Chocolate is
Not-
absolutely candy.
Not all candy is chocolate, but not all chocolate is candy.
No. Yeah. What?
What?
Not all candy is chocolate. Not all chocolate is candy. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's like a Venn diagram, dude. It's like two circles not really overlapping. But anyways, other than the chocolate that is not candy, that is also not chocolate. What have you been up to?
I've been watching stuff. I watched about 10 minutes of
Mhm.
One Punch Man season 2.
Oh shit!
And
I mean,
my
dude,
eyes
it's like-
started
that's like-
bleeding.
dude, that's like
and I
what?
turned it
That's
off.
Did
10
you
minutes.
do you like what they did with Genos' hand, his machine arms?
Yeah, I love it.
Dude.
Nothing wrong with it. All right. Listen.
Yeah, it's good.
You should be grateful. All right.
I've been watching JoJo.
Which one?
You know, part 1.
Nice.
Just felt like it.
That's on Netflix.
Yeah, it is. I watched a bit of what is it? I think I watched like one episode of Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Mhm.
Pretty good. Talk about that later.
Which one is that? Is that the
The
UFO
UFO
table
one.
one? Nice.
I watched 2 episodes of Fairy Gone, which I will be talking about.
Is that the last season of Fairy Tale?
No, I believe last season of Fairy Tail is called Fairy Tail Last Season or some stupid shit.
They did the same thing with Bleach and Inuyasha. They just call it the final season. You know it's
Yeah.
not the final season.
Other than that, oh yeah, I did watch one episode of Netflix's Ultraman.
Yeah, how was that?
That looks like shit.
But I heard heard one of them has a sword. That was cool.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, Ultraman, not known for having swords.
Yeah, very rare.
Don't they fight with their hands and do the cross chop?
Yeah, they also have swords sometimes.
I've never seen an Ultraman with a sword.
Orb's fucking way to power up is a sword.
Yeah, a lot of the recent Ultramans have had swords.
That's like having a Kamen Rider transform with a sword. You can't do that.
Yeah, imagine that.
Imagine that. I'm pretty sure multiple have done that.
Dude,
Well, like who? Like who? Kiba had.
Well,
Kiba
if
had
we
the
count
vampire
Gaim, there's a little sword on the belt.
That does that count? Isn't
I don't know.
isn't the Gaim transformation belt just a fancy juicer?
No, that's the soda belt, dude. The regular Gaim belt is you put in the lock seed and then you flip the little sword on it and it slices open the lock seed.
Anyway, Ultraman on Netflix sucks. Read the manga instead. I've talked about it before on the podcast. It's pretty good. But yeah, that's about it for me. Other than that, just been playing. I started a new game plus in Persona 5. That's about
shit.
it. Playing more Shadow.
So near. Why is Ultraman so small?
Well, because Ultraman, the manga, is I believe a pseudo sequel to the original Ultraman. And it's some weird thing where the guy that Ultraman was possessing or whatever, when Ultraman left, he had a kid, and it passed on these Ultraman genes, and now there's Ultraman family, and
Don't you mean
then
the
he
Ultra
wears-
family?
sure, and then he wears the suit so he can amplify his power.
Anyways, with that explanation, I guess I'll just.
So he's not Ultraman. He's more like regular man or Superman.
No, he is an Ultraman.
He's not Ultraman if he can't grow 30 feet tall. If he's regular size, he's like
Are you confusing Ultraman with Ant-Man?
Mega. He's like Superman or Mega Man because you
Listen, if he can't crawl up Thanos' ass and kill him,
He's not Ultraman.
he's
listen.
not Ultraman.
Here, listen. You gotta go. It's like Digimon evolutions. You have to go from your champion to your
Okay,
super
then he's
to your
Ultraman.
mega to mega, super, then ultra. Ultra being the final tier of Digimon evolutions. If he stays normal, he's at least champion or super stage.
Okay, he's mild man. Whatever.
Mediocre man. just anything.
Who cares?
Terrible naming sense. Let's just go with that.
The man.
But anyways, yeah, anyways, I guess I'll just go over what I've done in the past 2 weeks. I've actually seen a lot more series initially than I thought I would. I thought I would kind of get into slowly and then see which series kind of develop more and then just pick out those. But I've been getting into a lot more series, and I've been thinking a lot more, there are plenty of series where I'm just kind of looking at and I just say, well, this isn't really worth it. I've watched a couple of episodes. I kind of can see where this is going. I don't really care for it. But there are also plenty of series where, in this season at least, where I'm thinking, well, I'll watch a couple more episodes. I'll wait for it, and they have potential, and they keep the potential even after a couple of episodes, which is a little bit more rare than people think. So that's sort of that, and I've been trying to get back into visual novels. I actually blasted through the last Grisaya original series, so Grisaya no Kajitsu or the Grisaya series, as people call it. There are 3 actual visual novels that are not And the 3 visual novels are 1, Grisaya no Kujitsu, or The Fruit of Grisaya, 2, The Labyrinth of Grisaya, and 3, The Eden of Grisaya. And I have finally gone through the 3rd one, The Eden of Grisaya, and I want to say that it's not very good. It's not very good. And it just like confirmed every fear I had about the potential ending of it. I mean, the ending isn't bad, and the after story is like pretty nice. I really like how the after story is, and you'll hear this from me quite a lot. But I do like it when authors write a lot more about like the after story than they do like the actual main plot for obvious reasons. But the main plot was not good. It was pretty bad, so that hurt me a little bit. But hopefully, I'll be getting into the grind again. Other than that, not too much has been going on. Again, watching series, thinking about getting back into visual novels, thinking about getting back into web novels, so on and so forth. But other than that, it's been the same old, same old. But yeah. Anyways, let's start right off. I guess I'll go first here. And
Spire, what did you watch?
Yeah, so I'll start off with a pretty light series. These past 2 weeks, I've been watching a series called, well, most of you might know it, but Isekai Quartet.
What's that?
So Isekai Quartet is...
Are you sure it's not quintet?
Quintuplets, you mean? But
well, there's more than 5. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was like 12 or 15 last I checked. So it's Isekai dozen.
The Iroquois quintets, but we have all the major series. This is from it's not Dengeki Bunko, right? Is it Dengeki Bunko? It's from Kadokawa, right?
It's just
Yes,
Kadokawa.
Yeah, it's General Kadokawa.
Is that how they got the licensing for all 5 of these series? They contacted Kadokawa?
Yeah, they own them.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean get the licenses? They own them. They own each of them.
But who publishes their LNs? Wasn't it Yen Press?
No, that's localization. That's
not publishing.
Yeah, that's a localization.
Yeah, but like, who specifically gave the okay to make this series?
Who allowed this?
Who allowed this?
Where's the
abomination?
God.
chain?
What was that one series where they had like Nasu working with the others? I don't remember their names.
Chaos Dragon?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is it like Chaos Dragon where this was their D&D campaign?
I wish it was, because then it would be a better excuse than what this was.
So they got all 5 light novel authors in one room and say, "Hey, you want to make an Infinity War?" They're all like,
ambitious
all
crossover.
Right.
But this is perhaps the least. This is just so
the least ambitious crossover
in history. Yeah, exactly. It's like if they brought over, you know how it's like the Expendables kind of shit. It's like if they brought over everybody from the Expendables and then they just sat them in a room and had like a cup of tea, and then that was the movie. That is literally what Isekai Quartet is.
What if the main characters in Isekai Quartet symbolize their light novel authors? So you got Maruyama being the skull guy.
No. Please stop. What are you talking about?
It's like a D&D campaign. You got Maruyama being, I'm gonna play with D&D rules. Then you got the Cosmo light novel guy who's all like, screw that. I've got Aqua and her purification. Let's try purifying Overlord guy.
Yeah.
Then you got the ReZero dude being like, what the heck is this? I can't reset time.
Well, I mean, they're just acting like the way they would with their light novel, but with their light novel selves, but with a little bit more comedy slapsticks. But the point is that they have all these major Kadokawa brands, and they turn them into the Pucci forums, and then they just throw them all in a room, and it's a short that runs for 12 minutes. And everybody's just like, well, okay, I guess this is a thing now.
Spire, how do you feel about the tier list in this show?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, Overlord has 3 seasons, so they're obviously the strongest. ReZero has 2, I believe, right? 2?
ReZero is the biggest one of them in terms of light novel publishings, right?
But it doesn't matter. We're talking about anime. This is anime, not books. But ReZero has 2, I believe. Konosuba also has 2. Tanya has 1.
anime brands.
1, 2.
I
Who's the
apologize.
last one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Who am I missing?
Konosuba. You're missing Tanya.
Oh,
Yochisenki.
there's Overlord, ReZero, Konosuba, Tanya. Who's the fifth?
What do you
There's
mean?
4.
The Quintet's
There's
5,
four.
right?
Quartet.
Quartet. It's a quartet.
Why did you... What? Who said Quintet earlier and
You're-
confused me?
I was.
Yeah, this is your fault.
Oh, toast.
All right.
I had this whole thing about 5 series lined up. Then you ruined it.
You're completely just bamboozled, Toast. That was like some psychic bullshit right there. Like, anyways.
So yeah,
Listen.
of this tier list, Tanya is obviously the weakest. Until she gets her movie, then she gets her power up. So yeah.
Yeah, but like she has a gun.
Yeah, that's true. And she has a broom.
No one else has a gun.
But what I do want to say is that this is literally what I just said about, I don't know, 5 minutes or a couple minutes ago, which is they just take all of the Pucci or the chibi versions of the characters, and then they just throw them in a room, and then there's just comedic interactions based off you know, what the characters are in a slightly more light humorous sense.
So
And there's
Spire, who's your favorite?
What do you mean my favorite?
Who's your favorite character in Isekai Quartet? Yeah, see, Pioche knows what's up. Do they fight each other? That's what I was going to ask as well.
My favorite? I don't really have a favorite, but if I had to choose, it would probably just be Tanya, because Tanya is the only one that like actually reacts to stuff
Is she
in a not
she's
retarded
voiced by
manner.
Yuki Aoi?
That too, I guess. But I mean, I hate this. I hate the idea of the series. I don't know. It's just very. Just thinking about this series, not even watching it, just like looking at it from afar, just glancing. If I searched Isekai Quartet on Google Earth and I saw it from max distance, I would still be very like, no, this doesn't need to exist.
I don't know. They've done similar series to this before, like you mentioned.
They've done cheapy spin-off. Yeah,
Puchimas, and then they did what else was there?
Puchimas is a little bit different, but
what else was there? What's it called?
You're talking about stuff like
Fist of the North Star. They also did it in this style where they're like, we'll just throw them into a school. And then they did the same thing with Attack on Titan School.
Yeah, and they were bad.
Yeah, they were also bad, but
what makes this so desirable, Spire? Why is this so heavily praised?
I didn't say that. I didn't even say that. I don't know if this is desirable necessarily. I think the publishers are just trying to cop out some quick money by just shitting out all the brands into one.
Are they promoting the light novels or the animes with this project?
They're just promoting the general multimedia franchises of each brand. I don't know what this. It's not like it's like if
only
you
promoting the Konosuba movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
brought to you by JC Staff.
What about the Tanya movie?
It's
no, not that.
No.
Oh,
they're not doing it at all. But
speaking of ReZero, actually, they recently announced a ReZero cross DFO collab. I'm wondering if Isekai Quartet has something to do with this.
I don't think that's the case. But
I'm gonna go ahead and say maybe ReZero Season 2 has a little bit more to do with that.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I mean, get your Wii stuff out of my DFO. Nexon Tencent. I like the Fate collab and the Sword Art Online collab and the Miku collab, but ReZero, no thanks.
But yeah, overall, I hate this shit, honestly.
I disagree with Spire. I like this.
Why?
You mean to tell me that it might not be very exciting to see a show with like a fifth of the cast from like 4 different series in it?
Also, it's just like...
Yes, Spire, what do you have against all 5 of these series? They're
I don't-
they're all
well, I have-
they're all good by themselves once you
It is
watch
just the
them.
two main characters,
But
right?
what
They're all good.
they're
by
all good.
themselves.
So what's wrong with taking all the good parts of those series and meshing them into one bigger series?
I'm going
It's-
full
it's-
like LA Noir doubt right
It's
now.
like
yeah,
cooking, Spire. Why do you think they call America the melting pot? The delicious melting pot of
Yes,
culture.
it's American anime. the Isekai Quartet, the American of animes.
Don't you like how why do I keep saying Overlord? Ainz is all like, what the heck am I doing in this situation? Because he's all like, what the heck is this?
sounds
What the
very
heck?
Nanja koiwa, and then Kazuma's like, I'm out, homies, and then Aqua does her purification, and then Tanya's like, is this another trial by mysterious being X? I'll overcome this trial. And then the ReZero cast comes in last, and they're like, whoa, look at all these weirdos.
Yeah,
sounds like a very exciting 12 minutes. Let me tell you.
It is, because the Spire, who's the principal of this school again? Was it Big Karakawa guy? I don't remember.
I don't know. The principal was one of the officers from Yojo Senki, and then the teacher the teacher is like the clown dude from ReZero, the clown like count dude.
So there's an overlying plot here, right? Then you have these secondary antagonist villains that have gathered all the heroes from these first 5 series and make them do menial tasks in order to determine who's the top series. I get it now. It all clicked together. I thought it was nonsensical, but now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
You gotta have the villain that goes.
Series was stupid, but really,
You gotta have the villain that goes, oh, I don't like this series. We're gonna take it over, and I'll become the main protagonist. Then it's up to the other 4 series to help out this other series and make sure they stay on the right track.
How come we can't just have? Yeah, can we just like? Okay, look. I would even be fine with just some like web manga of the crossover happening, and then them selling like more like random like merchandise or whatever randomly down the road, but like chibi merchandise or Nendoroids or whatever the hell they want to do, right? But like, why on earth stop making these series? Like, I watched Play Dates, the Overlord chibi spinoff, and I still didn't like that, even though I really like Overlord. Why on earth would you think that's garbage crossover with like terrible? Like, I'm a defender of sophomore humor, right? Like, I think slapstick, I think lighter humor, I think lower level humor is perfectly fine. But this isn't even good sophomoric humor. It's just the most half-assed, the most bland stuff. Just if you're gonna sell me some merchandise, if you're gonna sell me these 4 franchises, sell me more things to buy from these franchises. Why are you doing such a half-assed job? Just publish some random web manga. Just give me more random merchandise, and I'll be happy, and I'll support the franchise even more. But why do you have to dampen the mood by creating this lousy crap? It's the most nonsensical thing. It's so dumb. I hate it.
Spire, I'm going to disagree with you there because you basically just called out the entire Smash Brothers franchise, and I'm going to heavily disagree with you on that.
I didn't think I did.
I will say this: someone clip where Spire was like, "I really like Overlord." By the way, clip that. Save that for the future.
Spire, this is basically the Smash Brothers.
Okay, let me correct that. I meant I really like the Overlord original light novel. I don't profess any love for the anime originals.
And think of it this way, Spire. Isn't Isekai Quartet basically canon to the entire Isekai universe?
No.
Isn't Isekai Quartet basically canon to the entire Smash Brothers universe?
Because you know parallel world theory, right? Where Soul Land has this thing where all the other Chinese light novels take place in what is it called, the Million Worlds, Where you got the Soul Land dude in this one, then they meet up with the dude from the other 4 Soul Land sequels. Then you got the you got Xiao Yan from Fights Break Sphere meeting with the Great Ruler dude in the other series, and then the other series that I don't know the name of. It's like that.
I am unsure what you're talking
Spire, you have other Isekai series congratulating the 4 series that made into Isekai Quartet. And they're all like, when's my anime coming up? And they're waiting for their anime to show up. And I'm still waiting for that one. Give me that one.
Shake my head.
So it's like this is a monumentous occasion for all Isekai viewers. Because as Session planted this idea in my head, but this can be the first Isekai Quartet. When Isekais become more prevalent, why don't they do a second?
I really hope they don't become more prevalent.
What if they make a second Isekai Quartet with 4 other series? Just think about the possibilities.
Could we just? I mean,
Sounds terrible.
We could just.
You could call it Isekai Quartet 2, or I don't know.
Wow, what an original name!
Yeah, Isekai Quartet 2 with 3 completely different series.
4 completely different
series.
I want Sword Dad in this one. I want Slime Tensei in this one. I want Death March in this one. And I want Smartphone in this one. Won't that be one? And then suddenly have Goblin Slayer cameos in the same one. Wouldn't that be the greatest?
Not an Isekai.
Exactly. That's why he's a cameo.
He's got you there.
This is the perfect crime. This is the perfect way to make it.
Yeah, it is a crime. I agree.
If someone wants to take this idea, go ahead.
It's a crime against humanity.
You have my blessing to steal this idea and make it money.
It's so bad. But this is the crime against anime for sure. But I want to say that so Pia was like, this kind of sounds like that virtual YouTubers show. The Pacho-san wa miteru, or Pacho-san ga miteru, or Virtual-san is watching, and I agree. It's pretty much as bad, but at least the justification for the virtual YouTuber show is that how do you advertise virtual YouTubers in an anime? Well, you got to have virtual YouTubers in an anime, right? So it's like they really couldn't do anything else. Although it was still a bad idea. Don't get me wrong; it's not a good idea, but that was pretty much the only thing they could do. This case, there are a lot of shit that they can do to sell me stupid fucking shit from each franchise. Chibi figurines, even just a webcomic of some random shit, just anything else. Why do you have to keep making these garbage ass chibi shorts that nobody gives a fuck about and nobody will even buy beyond the retarded like otaku collectors? Just fucking stop it. So that's pretty much all I had to say. I don't know. I fucking hate this shit.
I'm going to disagree again. I like this show. Keep it up, Kanakawa.
Yeah, Spire, you know what?
Yeah,
don't like it, don't watch it.
Yes, Spire. You may not be the representative of Isekai anime like me, so your opinion is less valid.
For you.
It's not for you. Just watch something else.
Gomenasai. But anyways, I am done with that rant. But with that said, let's move on to the next series on the line. Dark, what did you watch the past 2 weeks?
I watched. What did I watch? Okay, yeah, I watched Sewayaki Kitsune no Senko-san.
Uh-huh.
Which
what the
I
heck
don't
does that
know
mean?
what the translation actually is, because I've seen it in 2 different ways. I've seen it, which is polar opposites too. I've seen helpful like helpful Kitsune Senko-san or meddlesome Kitsune Senko-san?
I've heard the
Kitsunes aren't supposed to be helpful.
I heard the helpful fox Senko-san. Is that the one?
But she doesn't. Yeah, that was the one that I saw, which makes more sense. Because
I think
really she doesn't meddle.
no, it's not metal. So the way it is, the initial definition is helpful, but the idea is that so Sewayaki essentially means like sort of overly helpful. You know what I mean? It's like they're sort of almost
okay.
like micromanaging. You know what I mean? They're like kind of like borderline, like kind of being annoying. That's why there are sort of like two definitions where it's like there's the meddlesome part and then there's the helpful part. But the idea is like, I guess the closest way to translate it would be overly helpful, right? But anyways, that's sort of how the title goes. Yeah, the idea is that it's like overly caring. She's trying to do too much. You know the usual like thing in anime where it's like, oh, they're trying to help out too much and then they trip and show their patsu or whatever it is, right? The usual stuff. But anyways, go on.
That
Doug.
has not happened in this series.
Well, you know what I mean.
How dare
And
you.
yeah, do not
think
leave
this
the
is
fox.
like other of those
Do not leave the
disgusting shows.
This is a wholesome series. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a very
Go back.
wholesome series. No, absolutely not. It basically has happened.
Anyways, keep going.
Yeah. Pretty good. The show is about a guy
Okay.
who works for a what are they called? Are they called a black company or
Yeah,
whatever?
black
Where
company.
that
So
makes,
so
like,
yeah,
all
it's
their workers
black.
work like insane overtime.
Watch
black
out
company.
for those black companies, Darth. You might get isekai'd into them.
Shut up. But yeah, black companies in Japan are so named because they do obviously bad things to their employees. But yeah, keep going.
In all my years, I still haven't figured out quite exactly what any of these people even do for work, though. They're like, did you type up that report? I'm like, a report on what?
You know that report, dude.
That
The
report.
report.
Did you crunch the numbers? Like, yeah, man. It's like
Totally.
the same way with what was that otaku show? Wotakoi?
Hmm.
Or whatever? Yeah. That was based. That wasn't quite a black company, but they were working in an office, and it was like, what do you?
Don't
what
you
did
mean
your
love
office
is
even do?
hard for otaku?
Oh yeah, dude. But yeah, anyway, so he works for a black company, and forget, is it just like, yeah, I think it's just one day when he comes home, Senko-san is there,
Mhm.
and she's a Kitsune,
Mhm.
and she tells him that she'll pamper him. And so far, there's only been, was it 2 episodes, I think? 2 or 3 episodes? Yeah, actually, I think Session's right. It seems like he's an actual programmer.
Yeah, most of the time, these like they're usually like civil servants or like programmers or something like that. It's pretty like it's very like standard or like middle of the line kind of stuff that they're doing.
You know who else was a programmer that worked at a black company? The Death March guys.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Thank you,
I
Toast.
knew you were
Keep
gonna
going.
say-
I was gonna say Knights and Magic, but he didn't work at a black company. He just got run over by a car.
Yeah.
Or was a truck.
But yeah, so anywho, yeah. So I guess this is kind of out of order, but you find out like a little bit shortly after that it seems that she owes his family for some reason, or his ancestors. So since he's having a hard time with work, she decides to like cook for him, clean.
Hmm.
Just
And
do
it's
basic
pretty
chores.
episodic, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's very episodic. There's usually like, at least for the first 2 episodes, there's like 1 or 2 like major events, I would say, right? Like I forget what episode 2. What was episode 2? Episode 2 had the ear cleaning.
Hmm. Classic.
And what was that? Yeah, I think that was actually it for episode 2.
Okay. So
But like
far.
the major event, like in between that, it was like the basic back and forth.
Right.
trying to think, but oh yeah, and that's another thing too, is that the event usually leads to like a flashback or something that like gives a hint of how she knows him.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 2 is pretty strange because he has like a dream where he's talking to her, but it seems to be like very far in the past with him as like some sort of farmer with like a basket on his back. Yeah, and she's like not actually revealing it to him how she knows him, so
Right. So I mean
It
that
seems-
that'll probably come out slowly over time, but
yeah, I'm very interested in seeing like what that sort of like subplot is.
Mhm.
But the main thing of the show is like those main events for each episode. It seems in the episodic
Mhm.
theme of it. It also ends the episode with a pretty interesting like POV sort of thing of that major event. So it's not like the MC,
Right. Yeah.
and it always seems to end like at night. So
Okay. So
it's like the basic course of it.
yeah. I can kind of see how it goes. I'll probably check it out too. But how are the audio visuals? Is it nothing's too rough or anything?
No, the audio visuals aren't rough at all. They're pretty all right. Well, I mean, it's not even like they're pretty all right. They're like good,
Mhm.
but nothing like spectacular has really happened. in the
Yeah.
show
I mean
yet.
that. Oh, it's Dogakobo actually. Yes, Dogakobo
Yeah, it's
will be.
Dogakobo.
Okay,
So,
okay.
but nothing like crazy has happened.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect something like
There's some
this to
pretty
be like
alright.
pretty invested.
Yeah, there's some pretty like fun looking effects at certain parts. Stuff like that. The OP has some really nice visuals. As far as like the audio goes, like there's some pretty good tracks, but nothing like too standout-ish. So I think everything like complements it well, but it's nothing standout.
Who's your favorite character, Dark?
Well, I've only seen Senko and the main
Yeah.
guy.
So
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I can't look up anyone's names other than Senko because it's the only character and only voice actor listed on the fucking mall page.
Yeah,
It's just Senko.
they might not have been up in the credits yet, but obviously there are like going to be other like 3 other girls or something like that. But we'll see how that.
Yeah,
rolls
there's two other Fox girls. There's the artist girl.
Yeah.
Who I assume the white-haired Fox girl is going to like move in with.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very kind of standard stuff.
Yeah,
Kinda
because she's a mangaka, and it seems to be like she'll be sort of the flip side. Well, not really the flip side of him, but in a very similar manner, like a similar situation, but winds up being overworked while home.
Okay, so the White Fox is going to be by Uchida Maya. Koenji is I understand. So they're bringing a lot of pretty
What is the
notice.
main guy's name?
The main guy?
Yeah, what's the main guy's name and voice acting?
Let me see this.
Okay, so it is. Okay, it's Junichi Suabe. Right?
Wow,
Oh,
who's
okay, so
Junichi Sawabe?
So I actually went on Asumiwaki, who is the voice behind the main Fox. I went on her Twitter and I just saw Junichi Suabe with underneath the well, she had like text relating to this anime, so that's kind of what I assumed it was, Junichi Suabe. But that's pretty.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is Junichi Suabe, Ayane Sakura, Eri Kitamura, and Azumi Wakaki. So pretty big, like a lot of investment for some reason.
Yeah, and very strange that Mal does not have that updated yet.
Dark, what's the hierarchy of kitsunes again? White means they're stronger, right?
I don't know.
He is not. He is
Not
unsure.
brushed up on my lord.
Yeah.
But you watched this show. Has it not been explained?
Yeah, I've watched 2 episodes of this
I
show.
don't think-
only 2 characters of the cast have been introduced.
I don't think they've established the power levels yet, Toast. You have to forgive him.
You got the
Yeah,
normal
Senko
yellow
so far
fox,
has just been able to make, Foxfire.
but that's
Anyway.
like bog standard fox maneuvers. No,
Again,
no transformations
just-
yet.
Toast. Maybe it's just a training arc. You don't know. We don't know yet.
Shippo
But,
can do Foxfire and transformation. What can Senko-san do? Elaborate what she does.
as I said, maybe it's a
Foxfire.
training arc. Fox.
That's it.
Yeah, so far.
Dude.
And telepathy.
Nah,
No,
I get it.
telekinesis.
So it's like Jain and telepathy. Does she have the Dai Jain?
I think this conversation is not going places, so I'm gonna stop you here.
Yeah.
Toast.
So anyway, what I was gonna say is having like the voice cast is very good.
Mhm.
Obviously.
The studio is pretty
especially
good, and the voice cast is actually bigger than expected.
What
so-
studio is this? How could they afford all this money?
Dogakobo.
Dogakobo.
Oh yeah, how could Dogakobo possibly have money? I wonder.
Yeah.
What has Dogakobo done recently?
I was thinking.
But
Yeah,
they're-
having Junichi, I was gonna say, having Junichi Suabe in like these slice of life roles, I like a lot.
oh yeah,
His voice is really nice. in it.
like stuff in stuff like Violet. No, he wasn't in Violet Evergarden, right? That was somebody else.
Don't you mean
That's
Shokugeki no
Takehito
Soma?
Koyasu.
Yeah, I don't know. He was in
He was in
he was a
Demi-chan.
teacher in
He was
Demi-chan.
Demi-chan,
yeah,
exactly.
So,
Yeah, that's it.
yeah, hearing him again in like this sort of role is really nice.
Yeah, exactly.
His,
I
his
quite-
voice is like too distinct.
Yeah,
It is.
I mean,
It is
his
pretty
voice very
distinct, but it's
distinct and very, like, deep.
interesting to hear it in this sort of like use. Is what Dark is saying. I think
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
it's not like he's like,
normally
oh,
it's
I have no idea who this is. Like,
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
shit like Archer,
Yeah.
and then fucking
you-
Racer
The
from
the Indian
Hero
guy
Academia.
from Shokugeki. The one of the Passiones.
yeah, he does a lot of different like especially like action based stuff. But yeah, anyways,
Do you think how much money do you think he gets?
It's like decent
$3
amount.
It's like, hey,
He
Junichi
is-
Suwabe, we need you, and he'd be like, all right, let me look up the list.
I mean, he is definitely one. I wouldn't say he is like SS tier. Like he's not. He's definitely not like Miyano Mamoru level or anything. Or
Was-
kind of
was-
Hanazawa level.
What doesn't he get awards for his voice? I'm pretty sure he was like
Yeah,
voted
he does.
number
Doesn't
one
he
voice
get
actor.
award- Yeah,
Yes,
I'm pretty sure
he's
he's
got
won
an
at least
award.
one award with a fucking like portfolio of 300 of them.
Because I know on the what is it, the Type Moon ranking, he's usually first or second. As our,
What a shit
he's-
voice actor. Meanwhile,
yeah.
kept him
but yeah.
around, though.
But yeah, I would say that yeah, I mean Junichi Suwabe is probably S or A tier. I would say definitely very up there. Pretty much can, not pick and choose, but he can pretty much negotiate on his own. Like, I better be getting this much amount of money because I'm Junichi Suwabe. Kind of that level.
he's all like, let me check if UFO Table is doing something this year. Yeah, well, I can fit you in somehow.
But yeah, I mean he's getting a lot of stuff. But anyways, any last words on how Kitsune Senko, excuse me, Sewayaki Kitsune no Senko-san kind of seems overall right now. Whether you recommend it to people, I guess who you would recommend to people, etc.
Would you recommend it to me, who hates slice of life and only watches isekai and robot stuff? Dark.
I'd recommend you fucking better taste, man.
Damn.
Like, Isekai is the one thing you choose to do. Like Mecha, sure, but you're like, yeah, Isekai is the other one. That's what I want. in my
Does this
life.
have an English dub? I don't think it does
I
it?
don't believe it does. Yeah, why not watch the English dub after naming that cast, right?
Ayane Sakura, Uchida Maya, Junichi Suwabe, etc. It's like, or
Fuck
Kitamura
that.
Eri.
Yeah,
Give
who-
me,
who-
Give me, you know.
Give me
Give
Christopher
me
Nolan,
Christina V, please.
Christina V,
I
Carrie
need her wretched voice in my ears.
Carrie Walgren, Michelle Ruff, Matthew Mercer, Christopher Nolan, Nolan North.
And give me Nolan North to voice every Kitsune in the show.
Yeah,
please.
exactly.
That's the only way I'm watching that.
Yuri Lowenthal whenever the Kitsune does magical powers. It's like,
Give me Bryce Papenbrook, Mela Lee, David Vincent, Crispin Freeman. There you go.
Toast, there's one male in the show.
anyways, any last words?
Listen, dude, they gotta have range, all right?
Yeah.
They're really trying to push it.
Do you have any last words, Dark, about the show?
Yeah, I mean, it's an easy watch. It's pretty relaxing, pretty chill series. So
What's wrong with male voice actors voicing female roles? Don't you remember
yeah,
virtual
what's wrong with that?
virtual YouTuber Noja Lolly? That guy's a dude, but he voices the fox.
That guy is a dude.
Yeah,
We-
Nojalala is the character that exists on the
that
internet.
is given proof that this can 100% work.
Well, we can only dream, Toast. It is 2019 after all, so anything is possible. But anyways, with that, we are going to wrap up. Dark, thank you for helping review Sewayaki Kitsune no Senko-san. And with that, we will move on to Nier. What have you been watching, or what do you want to cover from these past 2 weeks? I know you have something that is a little bit one of the bigger names, I guess, this season. Not necessarily an already existing name, but something pretty big.
Yeah, it's in like the top,
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know.
Is
So
it-
it's one of the ones that are a little higher up on Mall. But
for sure.
I watched Fairy Gone, the new
PA
action
works.
series by PA Works, the legendary studio. That
You're stabbing me. You're stabbing me right in the heart here.
only creates good series, right?
You're stabbing me like twice.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. PA Works
Keep
hasn't
going.
done anything good since True Tears.
Whoa, that's a big yikes from me, my man.
Since True Tears?
For
True Tears.
That's a big doubt from me, my man.
What?
Don't you remember True Tears? It was
That's
showed
their first work, dude. Are you serious? That's literally their first work ever. What are you talking
I mean,
about?
what else have they done?
Kanon, Angel Beats, Hanasaka Iroha,
Hanasaka Roha? Hello?
Angel Beats.
Never
What?
heard of it.
I never heard of it. I mean, if you want me to really, here, let me pull up Google real quick.
Dude, they even did something that you like so much. Uma Musume Pretty Dirty.
Yeah. There you go. What? That's what. Uma Musume is what?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one right there.
2018. True Tears is 2008. That's a 10-year difference, my dude.
Yeah. Uchoten Kazoku? Shit. Shirobako? Shit. Sakura Quest? Shit.
Serious the Jaeger? I don't know, man. Who's the?
Yeah, well,
It's
that was
it's
fucking
called Dang it! What was that movie where they had Jaegers as robots? Pacific Rim. Just copying off of Pacific Rim, my dude.
Copying up.
Yeah, but Pacific Rim copied
just-
Attack
just
on
like
Titan.
Attack
because
on
it's
Titan.
Aaron
Yeah.
Yeager.
But anyways, you want to talk about a little bit more about Fairy Gone here. Fairy Gone.
Yeah, so Fairy Gone is an action series, or at least it's supposed to be an action series. About a lady and a lad, and they have fairy powers.
Oh,
And
by the
they-
way, the director for this is the series director behind JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. So
David Productions. What?
So it actually
it's
okay.
not
well,
David Productions.
yeah, it is.
The director.
I mean, I made the stand shit post, but
Yeah, exactly. The dark saying that reminded me, and I checked the director out, but he is actually the series director behind JoJo.
Which JoJo? How is he doing this and Golden Wind at the same time?
I mean,
Gee, I wonder. It's like scheduling or something.
Will
Also, he's-
will he be okay?
7 days a week. Or like fucking 12
Also,
hours a day.
when I
he's
say
just
series
directing
director,
Golden Wind.
he's helping with Golden Wind, but he's only been the main director behind the first one and Stardust Crusaders, and
Yeah, the bad ones, right?
yes. So, anyways, keep going.
Yeah. So, Fairy Gone show about this some weird organization, and they hunt down people with fairy powers, and they have fairy powers themselves because apparently having fairy powers is illegal. Because
War, dude, war.
because the war, which
War never ends.
yeah, the war which was fought with fairy powers is over, and so fairy powers are illegal now, and so they
Dude.
use fairy powers to hunt down the fairy powers. The
Just
world
like
building
Mega
in this
Man
show it doesn't exist. I mean, they kind of set it up. They were like, yeah, there was a war, and then the one side surrendered, and now it's over, and here's your characters, and I don't know. The show kind of stinks, to be honest. From my impressions, anyway. It sets it up with the main character, who is the girl.
I watched it too. Yeah.
Um,
Well,
who's,
it's like kind of split between the girl and the
yeah, I
main.
mean, there's
dude,
the two mains.
Yeah.
Right? There's the girl and the guy.
Yeah.
There's the girl, Marlia Noel, I believe her
Mhm.
name is. She joined the mafia to look for her friend.
Yeah.
And she finds her friend, and she's got fairy powers, and she's killing dudes, and
Now you
making
have
them-
stamp powers too.
she's killing dudes and making them shoot goo out of their eyeballs, and
Yeah, exactly.
then the dude, which is Free Underbar.
I don't know
is
why.
a,
What's his?
I don't know why his name is like that. It sounds like a chocolate bar or something, but you
Yeah.
know.
No, I saw like all the different names, so I like was trying to search for like voice actors, et cetera, right? Because I knew the guy voicing Free was very familiar to me, but I saw I was searching it. But anyways, I was looking through all the names, and they're so weird. Like, have you seen these? Like,
Yeah, dude, they're European,
yeah,
like Wolfran Rowe.
the Euros have the weirdest names.
Yeah.
Okay, let me read some of these. It's Free Underbar, Wolfran Rowe, Jonathan Paspier, Patricia Pearl, Sweetie Bittersweet, Axel Lovu, and BV Risker. I don't know what these names are. Like, where?
They're European.
Europe. The Euros, dude. Fucking Euros.
But yeah, Free Underbar is a former soldier. He's a fairy soldier, as they call him. He's got apparently fairy soldiers have like they rip some organ out of fairies, and then they implant them into a human being, and it basically gives them stand powers. Which is, by the way, the show is basically just like not JoJo. They got like stand powers, but not really. They're kind of just like monsters that come out of their assholes and fight other people. But
Why
then
do
the
they
main,
look like that? They don't
'cause
look like fairies at all.
yeah, well, they're not fairies.
Well, that's part of the quote
Part
unquote
of the
complexity.
world.
Yeah, that's part of the theme. They're like, oh, it's fairies, but they're actually monsters with
they're actually werewolves.
So what's the theme behind these fairies? Because if this is the same JoJo dude, are they categorized into close range fairies, long range fairies, independent?
I don't
fairies?
think it's that
well,
complex.
Well, what is their
Remote-controlled
theme
fairies?
basically?
They are, but they're not. They aren't like classed, right? At least
Yeah, they
in the
just have
first
powers.
in the first two episodes, they haven't like they don't say like there's there's power type fairies,
Yeah, exactly.
but they've shown like six fairies, right? There's the main girls, which honestly seems like pretty shit. Seems pretty garbage. She kind of
What does
just
it
like she grabs people and they burn.
So-
and
Okay, so
it doesn't seem to
worse than a
hurt very
flamethrower.
much.
So
Um,
like an elemental fairy? No.
I
don't
guess,
know.
but like it's only on contact, right? So it's like an icy hot pad. And then there's Freeze, which is the big wolf, who's named Red Hood. It's the only fairy they've actually named.
Like the Batman villain?
No, like the fucking fairy tale, idiot.
What the Grimm's fairy tales?
Yes.
Oh, that's why they're called fairies because of
fairy
tale.
Whoa, dude!
I thought it was like Fairy Tail the anime where they were just like Natsu over here.
That's so stupid. The wolf isn't even the one in the hood.
So they're not ripping off a Fairy Tail's Natsu, but
You're so
Fairy
stupid.
Tales from the Grimm anime. I get it now. See, the pieces are coming together. I get it.
Toast is like it's like you know those things where it's like suddenly like all the like pieces of a meteor like the light like comes together towards the brain. It's like shit, like that realization.
You can like hear the gears working in Toast's head.
But So wait, so if he's Freeze, does that mean it's the big bad wolf and not Red Riding Hood? Because I don't remember like the Red Riding Hood wolf having any ice powers. Like if you're gonna stretch it out, the big bad wolf blows stuff down, so you could attribute that to ice breath.
Yes, so
He has a howling. Yeah, he has a
Freeze fairy, which is a big wolf named
he has a
Red
howl
Hood,
attack. Yeah.
has a big howl attack, and
Oh, there you
it
go.
blows shit away.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. See, the pieces
Oh my
are
god,
coming together.
crying.
And then they've shown some other girl. She's like a scout. I think her fairy is supposed to be the Frog Prince, right? Basically just this tiny frog that goes like super long distances, and she can see through its eyes or whatever.
Oh man, this is starting to sound like Darkstalkers, except it's not as cool.
Not at all.
Not at all.
And then there's the other dude here who has like some weird sniping bug thing. But yeah, I mean the powers are just standard powers, right? They're pretty much just monsters that come out of their ass and.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the, I mean, the powers are sort of important in terms of like boosting the general like lore of the world, but I think in general the focus is not really on how the fairies are so much as sort of like, oh, what are they doing with the fairies? Like, are they taking them and using them as some sort of evil experiment again? Well, how do we harness the powers of these? It's more focused on that aspect than anything else.
So like,
which is pretty weak.
Yeah.
how do the fairies work if like they can implant their organs? They just like are roaming around.
So it's basically set up as fairies. When they're in like their natural state or whatever, they're like these weird, like wispy looking bugs, right? Kind of like, you know, I guess sort of a traditional fairy. You know, they're kind of butterfly looking. They're like sort of made of goo and they glow. But apparently normally people can't see them. And the only way to see them in that state is to keep them in like these jars, these special fairy jars made of special glass. And then in the first episode, one of the jars breaks and the main character reaches for one of them to protect it because for some reason there's bullets flying around and all of the bullets are going in the exact direction that the fairy is flying in. And then the fairy like taps into her mind or something and like possesses her, which is apparently impossible and has never happened before.
The moment the animation started happening, I just thought like of Digivolution, or you know, it's like the Digivolution kind of stuff, or like the season 2 Digivolution, where it's like it involves like the person just like.
Yeah.
Wasn't that season 3?
Well, they had a little bit of it in season 2 with when it went into like the champion kind of stuff. Like in season 1 it was kind of whatever, but but that's just me nerding out over Digimon. But anyways, keep going.
But yeah, she gets her special power. Apparently, no other way that anybody else has achieved it. But yeah, apparently, when fairies are like out of the jar and they're just like in their natural state or something, they can be forced to like take on the form that like they're normally in, which is like, you know, the big wolf or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they can take some organ out of it and then they transplant it into humans and then it's like bound to the person and the human can like control it.
and then they'll probably like at least a couple of episodes down, they'll like announce like some sort of major debilitating flaw if you use the fairy too much, etc., etc., right?
Or the wax philosophy, or it's like, well, the fairy doesn't have free will because it's bound
Yeah,
to
exactly.
a human being. Or...
Yeah.
This sounds a lot like Shaman King.
I mean, it's more or less pretty similar to like the whole like stand kind of thing in general, right? It's like
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just basically. I mean, it's kind of like stands, but instead of being like a mirror image of your inner self, it's just a big fucking monster, right?
yeah, exactly. What I don't, if you don't mind me like adding another thing where it's like, yeah, there's like a lot, the sort of like random like power fantasy kind of thing. Not power fantasy, but like very heavy railroading, which Prince of the Universe in chat kind of points out, where it's like the girl's just like, oh, I touched the fairy baby. Now I got a full fairy powers now, or something like that. Whereas like the other people are like all proper fairy like soldiers and stuff like that. But what I really didn't like was the whole initial setup for the motivation for like characters to do stuff. Where it was like you have the whole like girl who's who was really kind a long time ago. Now she comes back as a ruthless assassin, and she even says the whole like classic line, right? The meme line.
I'm not
like,
the same person you knew.
No, it's
that
not even.
person's dead.
Exactly.
Like fuck off, dude.
Literally, the moment I heard that line, I was like,
Well, let's clarify. Did she die and then got the transplant and became reborn? Because that
No, that's not how it works.
That's not how it
That's her
works.
fairy power.
Just dying as a kid and then reviving
She
as an
dies
adult.
and then revives. And
Yeah, I just
becomes
die.
A different personality.
Because you could say the same thing
No,
about
it's not that. It's not her power is she dies. Her power is that she can't die. But every time she does die, she comes back with a new personality.
Yeah, no, it's not actually her that she's. It's not the assassin actually isn't her. It's just her stand, but it's masquerading as her.
Damn.
But yeah, that and the whole like the initial like fairy soldier coming in, like that was reasonable. But then the girl being kind of shoehorned in on the side, being like, you know what, I need you to
powers too.
Yeah, it's like I need you to let that girl go because she's very precious to me. I'm just like, oh my god, is this how the girl's really gonna get pushed in here? Like, come on.
She had a gun, dude.
So
Yeah,
so
dude.
near. Paint me a power level. How strong are these fairies?
I mean, Freeze seems pretty strong. The
Yeah.
problem is, so I guess I could get into like how the action flows in this series.
Yeah. Agree.
And it's one of my biggest gripes. So the biggest difference, right, between these and like stands, right, is fairies seem pretty much autonomous. There doesn't seem to be any sort of like commands being given. There doesn't seem to be any control exerted over like a fairy other than Free being like, I'm gonna make my fairy roar now. It kind of just seems like like I said earlier, a monster comes out of the guy's ass,
Right.
and then it starts beating the shit out of stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's been very, very few instances in the action where, especially Freeze fairy, because I mean Freeze is kind of the only one that's really done anything. Where he's actually like shown any strategy, which is where the one time he was taking out the weird like robot thing, where he made his fairy charge at him, and then as soon as it was about to hit, it disappeared, and then he like stabbed it in the back, right? But other than that, it's pretty much just. So the problem with the action, the way it flows, is there's the two people that are fighting, and then there's the two fairies that are fighting, like beside the people, right?
Right.
And it's not really connected, right? It's basically two fight scenes happening side by side. They really don't have that much of an impact on each other, right? Like, they have the thing where if the fairy gets hurt, then the person gets hurt too. But it's not like JoJo where like, if a stand's arm gets like shattered, then the stand user's arm is gonna get fucked up too, right?
Mm.
There's a scene where the main character, like the girl, her fairy gets both of its arms cut off, and then she kind of just like falls over.
Yeah.
So
Nothing really happens.
so like the G trace system in Gundam, where
Also, it's like there are like
G Gundam.
there are like transferred effects from the stands to the humans, but I don't know how it really affects them, and it's like really weird.
Well, yeah, I mean they showed that when
They grab the
main
arms.
girl Marlia grabbed the two fairies' arms, and they were
Yeah.
like burning.
Yeah, and then the dude's like,
And
my
then the
arm is
two-
steaming, but then
Yeah,
he really
the guy's like, my arm is mildly warm. Okay, uh,
Okay.
it doesn't really seem to impact them that much. So like, I don't really know what they're going with the two, like the idea of like the two action scenes going on at once. They've kind of mixed it up where it's like the person is fighting another person's fairy, and then the other person is fighting the other fairy. But again, it just feels like the two scenes going on at the same time, and they're not really impacting each other.
Right. Like the action is kind of just happening, and it's not really making a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean that's another aspect that I think PA Works has struggled with a lot, right? So the action, visually, it doesn't really, it doesn't look bad or anything, right? Like it's PA Works series, so the animation's okay. I've seen some iffy spots where Free's hand has disappeared in a frame or two, but it's serviceable, right? But the problem I have with this, and the same problem that Sirius the Jaeger had, is the animation's there, but the choreography isn't there, right? Like,
and the sort of like the general like cohesion isn't there. Like there's like they're like, oh, I guess action should happen like for X amount of time, and then I guess story should happen, but then there's no like a lot of the linking, the stuff that happens, the transition stuff. A lot of that isn't really there.
yeah, but like like my main issue is with like the choreography, right?
Yeah.
So like there'll be action scenes where there's swords are clashing and stuff, but like in the second episode, right?
Mhm.
Free was fighting Wolfren, right?
Right, exactly.
And Marlia comes along and she aims her gun, and then she's like, guess I won't get involved. And then she just stands there for like a solid minute while
they just like leave her alone. Yeah.
And first of all, it's fine to show Marlia is like there, and
Mhm.
then maybe should be like, oh well, these guys are like two really powerful fucking fairy users, right? Maybe I shouldn't get involved. It shouldn't be like, yeah, these guys know each other, I shouldn't butt in. It's like, that's your comrade.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, you should help him.
Yeah.
Like you should have some reason for not helping him other than just be like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna stand here. And then while the fight's going on, she's not doing anything. She's just sitting there.
And then when she does like get in, she's just like,
yeah. The only reason she gets involved is because Wolfren attacks her, and she's like, "Oh, I should leave." And then, like, there's
Gotta leave it up to fate, dude.
And then while Wolfren's attacking her, Free isn't doing anything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the same problem that Sirius the Jaeger had. Sirius the Jaeger had a lot of fights where there was like a bunch of people fighting at the same time, right?
Mhm.
But then it would show scenes where, it would be two characters on screen, and then the other characters, it's like they're not doing anything, right?
Right, exactly.
There's no choreography going on in the action at all. There's no sense of like movement with the environment. Like, a lot of times you really have no idea where anybody is, right? Because the characters are moving, but the way the camera is, it's just not like it's not giving you a sense of them moving through the environment, right?
Right, exactly. Oh, the biggest example was when Maria and Free were running through the mansion, on the second floor or whatever. You
Yeah.
saw that scene, right? And it was literally like some like comedic scene where they were both like like running, but they were like in place. Like you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, and I mean there's that, and then there was the scene where like the bodyguard or whatever was shooting the blonde girl, right, at the
Yeah.
assassin girl, and then the bullets are flying all over the place. And Free's like, "Oh, what if they hit one of the attendants?" And then the guy starts shooting, and there's nobody around them,
Yeah, exactly.
right? So, and then the bullets start flying all over the place, and then it shows that there's like it starts bouncing towards the fairies, and then it's like, where are these fairies? Like before earlier in the episode, all of them were locked behind this special room that
And
nobody
now-
was supposed to be in.
now
And now they're just
breaking out.
hanging all over the place.
They're like, by the way, these time turners are just all over the place now. It's kind of like that, like Harry Potter, like like just shaking, like breaking of the time turners kind of shit.
There are no more time turners anymore at the Ministry of Magic.
Yeah,
Fire.
it's just like everything's just breaking all at once.
Except the one that Draco has. If you read, what is it? The Cursed, the new one? Harry Potter and the Cursed Child? Is that what it's called?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, I don't know if it's an issue with I don't know if it's an issue with the director. I mean, I don't really know what else it could really be. I don't know if they have a separate like animation director from the director, but like this issue was present in Sirius the Jaeger. It's present here. I don't know if it's maybe just a PA Works issue. I don't know if it's an animation director's issue. But yeah, their action is a little bit mediocre. The visuals are there. They're serviceable. It's no like it's not really blowing me away or anything. But it's visually digestible, right? All the frames are there. It's fine. But again, the choreography, the sense of movement, it's just very lacking.
Yeah.
Other than that, the only thing I really wanted to comment on is the fact that this story is pretty much Sirius the Jaeger 2. I don't know if you watched any of Sirius the Jaeger, Spire.
I watched like the very beginning of it. Yeah.
So the main character is again, he's part of some special unit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That hunts down vampires, right? And he's it's revealed later that the main character is like one of the only Jaegers or whatever, and it's like a werewolf, right?
Mhm.
And in like the third episode, I think they immediately reveal that one of the bad guys is his brother, and it's like his brother's like, "I'm not the same as I used to be," right?
God.
And it's like, as soon as I saw that this was doing the same thing, I was like,
God damn
this is just Sirius the Jaeger again,
it. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean,
And it's
the meme is in
it's
like a
not
lot of
it's not only with the female main character, it's with Free as well.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They both have the same dynamic going on with them.
It's
like kind of
it's very
unoriginal,
lazy writing.
right?
Yeah,
Like, it's very lazy.
yeah. It's the thing is like you don't need to have like a secret, chance reunion with somebody that is now, an quote unquote antagonist now to motivate you to search for the right path or whatever it is. It's like you could just kind of like have regular characters. But yeah, it's very, very unfortunate. But any last words on this? I was very disappointed by it too.
So near, but between let's say young Joseph versus one of these fairy stands, who would win?
Young
I'll-
Joseph? So like Hammond?
Yeah, sure.
Pretty sure Hammond would like lose
I
to any fucking
I don't
stand.
think Hamon's gonna do anything against these fairies.
So-
Like they're
so-
like they're like shooting swords out of their eyeballs and shit.
So
Yeah.
okay, so they're like part 6 stands.
I mean, kind of, yeah. They're pretty busted. They seem pretty busted. Like, the thing is, like I said earlier, the fairies don't really seem to, like, injury to the fairies doesn't really seem to impact the user very much. And, they
Yeah,
seem,
it seems
they
very
seem
vague.
pretty strong. Like,
There's probably some sort of flaw at the end, or some sort of like moral like thing consideration, as Nier mentioned. But
Okay,
that's down the
if
road.
they're that strong, how about against a servant? How well would they
All right, I
fare?
think
I'm trying to paint a picture of how strong these are, so I can rank them on my
I
tier
don't,
list.
I'm pretty sure servants are stronger.
yeah, I think servants are a little bit stronger.
Yeah, fairies aren't, like, destroying worlds and shit. So.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyways, any last words, Nier?
I don't know. Pretty disappointing. I wanted this to be pretty good. Like I really like the character designs in this show. I think they're pretty nice. They're very cohesive. The monster designs are nice, even if they're all in CG. The CG, it's not the worst, but it's not great at the same time.
Yeah. And again, they need to fix a lot of the, how shall I say it, the animation designs and stuff like that. And how
just I don't know. I
I
don't know.
saw that
if-
running and I was like, no, this is not. This
yeah,
is
I don't know if PA needs a better animation director or what, but I don't know. It just needs to be a little bit better, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
PA
more-
Works,
more on the ball. Yeah.
PA Works is a good studio, right? They
Yeah,
can-
yeah. They have a lot
especially
of-
in the animation department, right? They can make good-looking shows.
Yeah.
But lately they just haven't been doing it. I don't know what's up.
Yeah.
But yeah, just disappointing.
Hmm. I agree. It
What
was
if,
very,
what
it's
if
very,
you
very.
were just grateful though?
Yeah, you should just be, dude. If it's not by P Works, I'm not gonna watch it.
What does the PA and PA Works stand for anyway?
Progressive animation.
Really?
Yes.
Is this very progressive?
I don't think they mean progressive in that sense.
Yeah. But anyways,
Yeah, that's a female lead.
anyways, thank you, Nier, for covering Fairygon. I know this is a big, a pretty big name that we at least need to cover once, but unfortunately it didn't pan out. But oh well. But anyways, last but not least, Toast, you're going to hit us with something even bigger, I hope.
Yeah, alright. So I watched Chokado Girl 1/6.
Damn it.
Shut up, dude.
Alright, Toast, what did you really watch?
Well, I mean, I watched it, but I guess...
Yeah, you watched that too, but what are you
mean,
going
I really like that show. I want to talk about it, but it's fine.
That's not what you said you were gonna watch.
Or cover?
rather.
I watched Fruits Basket. The
Yes.
real Fruits... apparently this is the
The
real
reboot.
Fruits... No, it's not the reboot. This is the real Fruits Basket now.
I am the fruits basket now.
Yeah,
Look
that
at
one
me.
never happened.
I mean,
It's that new sci-fi movie, pure work of fiction.
Yeah,
I mean that's actually
false.
that's actually what pretty much happened. Do I have to go into the backstory? Yeah, you know what? I will. Okay, so let's back in when did Fruits Basket come out? 2001. The original Fruits Basket aired, and it was made by Dean, right?
It was made by Studio Dean.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Dean. And we all know what Dean looks like, right? Yeah. They made Rurouni Kenshin. So, I think this was around the same time, wasn't it? So this, you know, it looks pretty
Rurouni
good.
Kenshin was much earlier than this.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got your 26 episode anime, and but the author was like, "Wow, this sucks," and he hated it.
Well, yeah, I would guess so.
Yeah, he hated it. So I guess that was stewing in his mind for 18 years. And he was all
I
like,
mean-
"Wow, Fruits Basket 2001 really sucked."
I mean, even if he
So
was,
he was all like, "You know what? I'm gonna make my own Fruits Basket with a different anime studio," and that's what this is.
I mean, even if he was like kind of okay with the studio deal.
No, he hated it. It
changed
changed his story and the colors, and he was all like, "Wow."
What I'm saying is, regardless of how the first series was, Fruits Basket is big enough so that it could have like a reboot or like a remake, even if, regardless of whatever else happened. If the author was like, "Yeah, I just want a remake," just because.
Was it really that big? I mean, no one's mentioned it
Fruits
for the
Basket
past 18 years until it came out. I was like, and he's all like, "That's a name I haven't heard in a long time."
Fruits Basket is legitimately one of the biggest like selling a manga series.
Was it bigger than?
I want to say period.
In America, is it bigger than Oran Host High School Club?
Yeah,
I
was
don't
bigger.
know if that's the
Wait,
name
actually,
of the show.
that's in the same generation, isn't it? The early 2000s.
Yeah, but it's definitely bigger. Fruits Basket is very big. But anyways,
So I mean, what do you want?
How many Hitalias is one Fruits Basket?
When was Italia? Is that also? Man, the early 2000s were pioneer of anime.
All right, can we not go on this talk? But keep going about the remake, please.
So what do I gotta say about the remake? Well, I guess I gotta compare it to the 2001 one.
Yeah, I mean, definitely you have to, but
I mean, I think the art style's kind of weird in some places. Like, I mean, you've got the early 2000s style, and that's pretty prevalent. Then you got this style, which is, I want to say kind of mimicking that style, but not at the same time, because I believe this is a shoujo, isn't it? Yes. Yeah, this is shoujo,
it is.
It's emulating that shoujo style. But the problem I have with these types of shows is when they try to emulate an older style, it doesn't really look all that good. I mean, we've seen that with what's it called? Cutie Honey, I guess. Cutie Honey has that dated style that looked good back then, but this one's kind of eh. Oh, the new one, Cutie Honey Universe. Eh. You've also had it done with Sailor Moon, where the original is, it looks really good, 90s style.
Yeah.
But then Sailor Moon is a crystal. Crystal look pretty bad. And then the only...
It's just because it was horribly animated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the only comparison that I can make towards this that was good, well, that was a good reimagining of the old style would probably be Clear Card. Because we've seen that the Kenshin Kyoto Henovas, they're kind of iffy looking. And they're kind of bad, but
well,
that's
Clear Card is a little bit of it. I mean, I get what you're saying, but Clear Card is
Clear Card has the advantage, though, because it's the same studio, and they're all like, hey.
Clear Card looked good.
Exactly. Clear Card is like the only...
What about Lupin?
I mean... Lupin's what, the 70s? That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What about Mix?
The heck's Mix? Like nuts?
No, as in the the baseball series, excuse me.
I don't know. I don't watch sports series.
Okay.
Anyways.
Anyway, yeah, but what was my point?
I don't know what your point was.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of jarring. Like the main chick's face is kind of weird. It's trying to emulate. It's trying to emulate the '90s style, but it's not so good in places. But that's beside the point.
But I mean, the Fruits Basket original manga itself didn't exactly have a standard like modern art style, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, what was I getting at? Oh, I should talk about the basics. The basics of Fruit Basket. So you got this chick, right, Toru. Her mom dies in a car crash, and then nobody wants her. So she's gonna live in like a tent in the park. But then one of her classmates was all like, "Wow, you loser! Don't worry, I got room at my house. You can bunk with me." And she's all like, "Wow, thanks." But then it turns out Toru's family, what's the guy's name? Soma Honda? I don't know. What's the guy's name? Kyo. Kyo's family is not what it seems. Because he's got their family's got a secret curse. And their curse is they're all cursed with the Junie Tyson syndrome, where they're all, well, all 12 of them are cursed with being an animal.
Yeah,
If-
essentially the somas
It's like
are
it's
all
like
like
it's like animal Ranma, where if they get touched by, instead of hot water or cold water, they get touched by a member of the opposite sex, they turn into an animal.
yeah, exactly.
And then you've got Toru's crazy hijinks, where is her name Toru? Yeah, Toru's crazy hijinks, where you hang out with all the dudes, and then you got a wacky hijinks concerning animals and stuff. That's what this show basically is. And yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's-
It pretty much goes from there. It works with that premise of the whole like zodiac animals under duress, and then
But it works better
Concept.
than Junie Tyson,
I mean anything works better than Junie Tyson.
'Cause-
It's
because the characters are more fleshed out in this, and they all have their own arcs.
yeah.
You could still compare it to
I don't
But,
like. I don't know any other series that has a zodiac thing to it. Like, give me another one. I'll compare to that.
Oh, so you
Etotama?
just mean like in general, like the Zodiac
Yeah,
more
like I mean,
relevant to their character?
yeah, because you got Kyo, who
Alright, I'll give you that one.
Kyo, the
Yeah.
cat dude. He's got orange hair, so he turns into a cat. That's why he's kind of tsundere and stuff. Then you got Hatsuharu, who was I have some stories about Hatsuharu. Do you want to hear? Do you want me to tell them?
It's fine.
I mean, I can. I don't
It-
mind. It's part of my
it-
dark past, but
it's fine.
okay,
But,
okay. So early 2000s, there's
damn
this
it.
site called Gaia Online. You know what that is, right? My first RP character was basically Hatsuharu Soma, because he had black and white hair. But but
Very
Yikes.
but instead of let's see, in Fruits Basket, the dude turns into a pig. Instead of that, and he had like this black Haru and white Haru side. My character's trait was, oh my god, he was his black side was half demon, and his white side was part human.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say like hat part angel or something like that.
Leave me alone.
You
This
little MC.
I mean, this was in the same era of Devil May Cry, so
Oh my god.
leave me alone. This was Dante was
this in
cool,
the
okay?
same era? In the same
Dante was
era of
cool,
High
okay?
school DxD.
No, this is before that.
Or
Anyway, where was I?
DxD a very good connotation.
Oh my god.
Where was I going with this?
Like we were in the Zodiac, explaining how the Zodiac stuff for.
Yeah, but yeah, the Zodiac stuff, and then you know, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say there. It's just the
It's
premise that leads into
fine.
more of the shoujo development. But
I
again,
mean,
it is a very popular
This
series, remake.
is probably one of my starter shoujo series. I don't consider Sailor Moon a shoujo because it was
That's fair.
it was way more actiony than it had any
Yeah, that's fair.
reason to be.
But definitely, yeah, I think stuff like this.
I mean, this
I mean, like if you ask like pretty much almost any female like Western anime or manga fan, like what they watched or read, I want to say 5 to 10 years ago, they would probably say some mixture of like, I want to say this, Kuroshitsuji, Oran Host, and Sket Dance. Those four
forgot
are
Hitalia.
definitely
You forgot
should be in there.
Hitalia.
Hitalia is a little bit of a mix on both sides, but it's like
You
in terms
forgot.
of, like,
You
female-
forgot D and Angel.
D and Angel is a little bit more like people who are a little bit more in the mud, but like just pretty much like people who are like, yeah, I'm just like a casual anime or like manga fan, and they were like from like 5-10 years ago, like they were like reading series. I think those four would pretty much always be on their list.
Escaflowne?
Escaflowne is also a little bit more like people who are a little bit more in there.
What about Bleach?
Bleach, yeah, Bleach is also kind of one, but Bleach, Naruto.
Wait a minute, Spyro. Why'd you say female? Isn't that kind
the
of
girls
sexist?
watched Bleach.
Oh,
dude.
sorry.
I've
Oh, man.
I've watched Oran and Italia and all those. And I'm
not saying that male viewers don't watch it. I'm saying that if you ask like female viewers, did you watch one of these 4 series, and they've been watching anime, like when they watched anime was from like 5-10 years ago, or at least starting from 5-10 years ago, they probably watched it. But very, or 5, 10, 15 years ago, I want to say now. But very very interesting timing to do this, but I guess it had to happen someday. But do you have any last words for this remake?
What can I say? The okay. The original Fruits Basket had all these iconic voice actors. You got freaking Tomokazu Seki as Kyo, and you had Yui Horie as Toru, and all that, and all those dudes. But I mean, why didn't they bring them back? Because the new Fruits Basket has completely different voice actors for that. Who the heck is Manaka Iwami and Yuma Uchida? I don't know those guys.
All right, Yuma Uchida is pretty. He's pretty up. He's pretty.
Who the heck is Yuichi Nakamura?
That's true. Who is he?
Who is that
Who
guy?
is Nobunaga Shimazaki?
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
But anyways.
And who the heck is Sakamoto Maya?
Anyways.
But I mean, I'm questioning why was the author's hate of the original that much that they wouldn't rehire all the previous voice actors?
I think it's probably just more of a scheduling issue at that point.
Because
no,
the original Fruits Basket anime, it pulled a Full Metal Alchemist and Black Cat and whatever, and Shaman King. This was common back in the day where ongoing manga that got turned into an anime had a deviation in their anime because it was shorter, so they couldn't. They had to end the story somewhere.
Yeah.
And the author hated that.
Yeah, no, I mean.
And this one, but in this one, they're pulling the Brotherhood where we're gonna do the whole manga in its entirety. We're gonna do the full route. So
but
don't
I mean,
worry.
again, I don't think they're gonna be able to do all of it, but they're gonna be able to do a good truncation of it. But it'll be very interesting to see how it unfolds. And again, I think this
this series has potential.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would call it potential.
Fruits Basket has some potential.
I believe
we
this.
Can't know for sure.
I believe this is going to be the definitive Fruits Basket version.
Like, this Attack on Titan thing could go a little bit big. It's like, you're like,
well, it has some potential,
Yeah, but
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, like it's there, but like I don't know. It might catch on.
But yeah,
I don't know what else to say. It's good. It's going to follow the manga faithfully.
Yeah.
If you really like the manga, I definitely suggest you watch this. I mean,
it'll be interesting. The big thing is I'll be very interested to see how the general sort of reception and numbers are, because it's like obviously anime manga fans have they have the memory of goldfish, essentially, is what I'm saying. So, or the attention span of a goldfish.
I should mention you all know why it's called Fruits Basket, right?
No.
There was a children's game called Fruits Basket where y'all sit in a circle and talk about the name of the fruit.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's where
it's part of Toru's backstory.
It's like what's that shit? It's like musical chairs, but the leader calls a fruit, and if you're that fruit, you gotta go away.
Yeah,
but in Toru's case, when she played the Fruits Basket musical chair game,
she was teased. Yeah, she was teased and called onigiri, and then what she said is that she does when when she's when she okay, so when she was young, she was teased during the Fruits Basket game, and she was called Onigiri because she wasn't like fit in. She didn't fit.
Onigiri isn't a fruit.
Yeah, but then when she went to the Soma family, the Somake, and she was, kind of going through the paces there, she also felt like she didn't belong there either. So she felt like she was, again, an onigiri in a basket of fruit. So that's sort of how it works out. And then that's sort of the symbolism that they use to wrap up plot points in the series. Is sort of how it works.
I thought it was called Fruits Basket because they're all basket cases, and they all had the color. Their hair color was that of fruits. That's what I thought back in the day.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
anyway,
closing remarks. The opening and ending are really good. Like really, really good. The original Fruits Basket opening, that's a trademark of anime time. This one, it's also really good.
yeah. I mean,
if I had
the thing is,
compare
like
it-
at this point, if they didn't put their all into making this remake like at least decent, like it's
this is like Card Captors opening 2? I think 2? That's a good one, right? Or the most popular one? It's like the good Card Captors opening.
Mhm.
And then you got the clear card opening, which is also really, really good.
What about clear card opening too?
No, it's not that good. I mean, this is on that same level. Yeah, it's really, really good. Unlike Cutie Honey Universe, where they broke the mold. They didn't use
Yeah,
a song, man. You got to
broke
use a song.
tradition more
Yeah,
than anything.
you can't break tradition. You can't do that.
But anyways,
Yeah, it's really good.
mhm.
I'm upset that I didn't get to watch it in theaters and get the free stuff, but I'm not gonna try for like 4 hours to watch it.
Yeah.
It's not Heaven's Feel. But yeah, watch it. It's good.
Yeah, it's Fruits Basket. So I mean, if you are gonna watch it, you might as well watch it now. Like I'm not even kidding about this. Like if you're not gonna watch, a classic like Fruits Basket, especially
shit.
after it's been remade like this and it has all the money in the world to deal with, you're never gonna watch it. Like let's just face it. So watch it now or forever hold your peace. But anyways, thank you very much, Toast, for helping us cover Fruits Basket. And with that, we are going to move on to the news. So we have some kind of interesting news from the past 2 weeks here. So, first piece of news here. Okay, the All Japan Magazine and Book Publishers and Editors Association, or AJPEA, released a report on February 25th that estimated that physical and digital manga sales increased by 1.9% in 2018. The market totaled 441.4 billion yen, which is about $4 billion in 2018, compared to 433.0 billion yen, which is about $3.9 billion in 2017. So a lot of the physical, a lot of the physical sort of manga profits sort of decreased, while digital compile and digital manga magazine sales increased in general. So the digital manga market accounted for 45% of the manga market overall in 2018. The estimated totals for the digital market do not include advertising revenue from free or paid apps. So pretty interesting. Obviously, digital stuff is on the rise because of forced digitalization models, as well as digitalization just generally becoming much easier to handle, right, than lugging around physical manga copies. Although the physical manga novels are good, but it's not like it's like books in general, where it's like it's coming to the point where it's harder to own just shelves and shelves of books, right, that you want. So that's sort of interesting. Next piece of news here. Some little interesting, I want to say, incidents. First off, police in Shibuya, Tokyo filed charges against a 25-year-old male employee of Yahoo Japan for allegedly modifying the system of Shogakukan's Manga One app without permission to extend his reading time to 160,000 hours.
What do you win?
Jail.
You jail. The authors alleged that around March 10, 2016, the suspect sent false information to the Manga One server to change the maximum daily hours he was allowed to read manga for free. But yeah,
Oh my god.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I would probably do the similar stuff. Like, I want to say, like, just I personally think just letting people just buy the manga is the way to go, or like buy the chapters is the way to go. I really hate this whole like timed reading, like whatever stuff. Like the subscription stuff is also okay, but I don't know about this garbage. Like, oh, you're in
Timed
a
reading is fucking stupid.
yeah. It's like you have. It's not like you're in a PC cafe. Like, let's be real here. So let's not run the service like this.
Go to a library and they fucking give you like an egg timer the second
Yeah,
you pull out a
exactly.
book.
the moment you run out, it's like
They
the book.
strap you into like a fucking saw machine
Yeah, exactly.
to your head. Like,
Yeah.
better return this.
Yeah. Or it's like the book just like leaps out of your hand and you're just like pushed out by the old librarian, like out of the
Mission Impossible burn like.
yeah. Next piece of news is similar to this, another scandal. Police arrested a 29-year-old man under suspicion of violating Japan's copyright laws by using file sharing software to illegally distribute anime. Osaka Prefectural Police arrested the company employee in Korean national living in Yokkaichi, Mie. According to police, the suspect allegedly used BitTorrent to illegally distribute the World Trigger anime last September. The police stated the suspect said, "I wanted to be seen by everyone," and released it. Police also stated that the suspect used released Blu-ray discs to upload the anime videos to his computer and distribute the files through BitTorrent. Blah blah. Damages related to copyright infringement in the case are reported to be around 1.8 million yen, or about 16.1 million US. Yeah, sure, all right. Yeah, okay, sure.
How much did he get fined?
No.
Did he get hit with?
He didn't get fined. I think he's
Oh, that's what they said the damages are.
yeah, the damages are. But I mean, again, it's like you caught this one guy, good job. Now you have to catch a billion
Wow.
more.
You caught one seater. Great.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And also, like, you know, maybe it would help if you guys didn't sell this stuff for like $200 a pop.
Yeah, it's like our estimated damages. Like, yeah, that's fucking.
That's
That is.
It's like our estimated damages are 16 million US dollars. That's like 2 BD volumes.
Yeah, that is first of all, that's incredibly generous. Anyway.
Yeah. But anyways, moving on. Pretty interesting company. Some pretty interesting company news. First off, Toho of stuff like Godzilla fame announced on Wednesday that it invested a substantial amount of funds to its Los Angeles-based Toho International subsidiary on March 5th, with the company's 1.33 million shares now amounting to approximately 15 billion yen, or about 138 million US dollars worth, a massive increase from the company's previous 3,000 shares. So it's part of Toho's Vision 2021 midterm management plan that involves foreign co-productions and character business in foreign territories. The plan involves partnerships with major Hollywood production companies involving Japanese content, including the upcoming Godzilla King of the Monsters and Pokemon Detective Pikachu film. So it's trying to really ramp up the efforts to work with Hollywood, essentially, because it sees that Hollywood is willing to, pump in the money to create weird shit that's related to previous Japanese works, right? So it's just ramping up its efforts. But I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't mean I have to like it.
It's just Toho flexing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Unusual.
On the similar vein, I've seen a lot of news these past. I see more and more news articles about stuff like, this anime convention or this Western anime convention or that Western anime convention is hosting this CEO of this studio or this CEO of this studio or this voice actor, blah, blah. And while I'm glad that there's more of this, how do I want to say it? This more like exchange going on. I'm not sure if people are getting anything out of it. Like, I know obviously the Western fans are delighted that they're going to meet people, like famous people, right? Like big people, famous voice actors, so on and so forth, right? That's great. But what is the Japanese industry doing with this sort of like publicity, this exchange?
Selling Crunchyroll subscriptions.
But yeah, I just wish that there was like an actual plan behind this. I know obviously they're doing some networking. I know that this sort of works as a small like publicity stunt, but I don't think it really manages to anything effective. And I wish it would kind of do that, because right now all it kind of seems to me is that they're more or less just giving them money. Like people being flown out here are just like, oh yeah, these events, we're just getting flown out for the money, and it's benefiting a couple of individuals, but it's not really like doing anything for the industry, which is kind of frustrating. So
It's for the fans, dude.
it's for the fans. But yeah, anyways, next piece of news. More news from IG Port. You guys have heard a lot about IG Port, production IG, stuff like that, and how they've been reshuffled and reorganizing from our podcast. And here's some more news. Obviously, this has been IG Port as a whole has been a very interesting model, because they continually like release their like financial reports and stuff like that, and we can kind of see how the anime industry is shifting through their model. So here's some more news on them. IG Port, the parent company of animation studios Production IG, Wit Studio, Zebeg, Signal MD, and publisher Matt Garden, revealed on Friday both its new earnings forecast through the end of its current fiscal year, which ends on May 31st, 2019, and its earnings report through the third quarter of the fiscal year, which ended on February 28th, 2019. The company has revised its earning forecast for the fiscal year from consolidated sales of approximately 9.75 billion yen to 9.06 billion yen, so marking down. IG Port has revised its predicted operating loss from 175 million yen to 434 million yen, and its net loss from 200 million yen to 209 million yen. The lower forecasts are a result of lower than expected earnings, delay of deliveries of some video content to the next quarter, and lower than expected sales of some manga. Similar news down the line. The company's video production business for both its live action and anime productions reported consolidated sales of 4.7 billion yen, which is approximately a 30% increase from last year for the 9 months ending February 20th, but an operating loss of 530 million yen. The company places the reason for the loss on the cost of CG production and outsourcing costs, as well as shortages in staff resulting in extended production times, which is very strange because I mean, they have they have 3 studios, in fact, that's running this Wit Studio, Zebeg, and Production IG, and they're still calling a shortage in staff. And it's very interesting that they're complaining about cost of CG production and outsourcing, because those 2 models were part of the things that studios were relying on in a sense, right, to lower their costs, right? Because the idea is you outsource it to some cheap, let's say Korean or Taiwanese or Philippine subcontractor, right? And you have them draw some shit, and that'll presumably be cheaper than having people work overtime in-house, right? And as well as for the CG production, instead of drawing stuff by hand that costs like thousands of dollars for one eye or whatever, right? You run it to CG. So it's very interesting that they're complaining about things that are supposed to save them money, right? I don't know exactly what's going on, but it'll be very prudent to see what's going on with IG Port in the future. But Boba,
Just start doing traditional animation again.
yeah,
Just do like 3 keyframes and then just like
yeah,
between each of them.
just run everything at like 5 frames per second. Publishing
More on that
business.
later.
Yeah, publishing business has an overall operating profit of 54 million yen, but it's pretty much like an 85% decrease from last year. General sales are on decrease. The rights management business is also overall profit, but there's a overall like 95% decrease from last year. So it's very I wouldn't say grim, but it seems very fragile. You know what I mean? This is obviously not even talking about the fact that IG Port did recently transfer a lot of the Zbex stuff to Sunrise, right? And that'll probably happen pretty soon. It happened April 1st, so the full sort of transfer and everything will probably happen midsummer-ish, right?
Probably.
But I don't know. It's very. I don't know. The thing is, if they were like, okay, well, we're doing all these projects, and the reorganization didn't work out, and we're hiring all these people, and it didn't work out, and it costs too much money, then that'd be one thing. But they're complaining about, again, the things that are supposed to be saving the money, right? Like CG production is supposed to be the thing that, or CG/3D animation is supposed to be the thing that saves these, studios from having to hand make everything. Outsourcing is supposed to be the cheaper thing than in-house, which is why everybody's outsourcing to like 11 different studios. So I don't know.
Question is production IG, right? For the most part.
Now it is. And which studio is probably helping on the side.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the main production, it is production IG.
Are they doing the CG production in studio, or are they getting another studio to do the CG? Because if they're getting another studio to do the CG because they don't have...
It probably depends on the series, but I mean...
Yeah. Because if they don't have the staff, then, I mean, if they're asking other studios to do CG, that's going to be expensive.
Yeah, it's an ugly situation either way, but I mean... It's like, I mean, they're pretty much stuck in a bind, right? I mean, not only this, but Production IG is one of the bigger studios out there, so imagine what it's going to be like in 1 or 2 years, or not even 1 or 2 years, in just maybe the next year for other studios, right? They're just going to be like, what do? We want to do CG, but if you don't have enough assets, if you don't have enough float capital, if you don't have enough kind of general labor to facilitate all of this, right? If you don't have a flexible enough, unable enough company with enough assets, we're not even going to be able to afford the projects that are supposed to be saving us money, right? So it's like
bubble's gonna pop, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's goddamn stupid.
It's been coming for years now.
Yeah, it's very scary. But anyways, we'll see how that goes. Next piece of news. This is also pretty big. This is really big. Bungei Shunju's weekly Bunshin digital magazine reported last Friday that animation studio Ufotable allegedly owes 400 million yen, or about $3.57 million in taxes, citing a source from the Tokyo Regional Taxation Bureau. The report also noted that Ufotable is suspected of supposedly misappropriating funds raised from a charity auction for the 2011 Tohoku earthquake, a violation of the penal code that carries a potential prison sentence of no more than 10 years.
Oops.
Jesus Christ.
I don't believe it.
So the whole studio's going to jail?
Probably just the execs.
Yeah,
whoever was in charge of the funds for that charity, right? At the time. Probably gonna get jail time.
No charges have been yet filed against Kondo or Ufotable, but the government might do like a further investigation probably. The Tokyo Regional Taxation Bureau conducted a search of Ufotable's office on March 12th as part of an investigation of the company allegedly committing tax evasion. Blah blah. And then they found all this out. According to the report, Kondo was allegedly directly receiving some of the revenue accrued from the studio's merchandise sales. So the top execs have been kind of the representative director and the president, Hikaru Kondo, this is talk about him, was probably kind of shuffling around money, trying to get it from the earthquake charity, trying to get it from stuff, and also kind of turning a blind eye to tax evasion to the tune of $3.6 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a thing that happened.
This better not affect the Heaven's Feel movie.
If this investigation goes further, you better.
It's definitely going to.
Like I don't believe it. I don't believe that it's our good old animators.
I mean, obviously, it's not going to be the animators that like stole, but
the
it doesn't
animators
matter.
aren't curating the books.
Yeah.
So if you Ufotable is corrupt from the inside, all you need to do is hold another Holy Grail war and make a wish to fix. Because you all know about how the Holy Grail is tainted, right? That's why you could summon irregular servants like Avenger and
Yeah, you all
Medusa.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, God, I just. Well, I hope this investigation roots out the executives pretty quickly and just kind of quickly stems the tide there. And I hope the animators at Ufotable, as well as general projects that Ufotable is handling, don't go under the water. Hopefully,
They better be okay. You don't understand, Spire. I need this. I need my heavens feel. I need my fate stuff.
Yeah, I hope that it doesn't go under, and I also hope that the community will be understanding and that, these guys actually did do something wrong. So if the investigation unfortunately does flip, Ufotable upside down, that's sort of what has happened.
We don't need A1 Pictures taking over the Fate franchise anymore. The most I can allow is Shaft.
Dude, Fate Apocrypha
Kimetsu no
was
Yaiba
pure Sakuga.
just got a second core.
I mean,
right?
Every time more Ufotable news comes out, you just hear like the news of more Fate Apocrypha from the distance, from the beyond.
Sakuga.
But have you seen Fate Extra Last Encore? That looked really good.
I mean,
That was really good, says a man who said Fate Last Encore wasn't very good.
Anyways,
have you seen what they did with Nefro?
I don't think that makes it worth it.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Re-edit an entire fucking 5-hour podcast for that.
Nero is really, really cool when animated by Shaft.
Well,
you say so.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
As the foremost Nero expert in this chat,
Your PhD in Nero.
my word is law.
Pio's like, it ends with Saber getting arrested by the RS.
Which Saber? Nier's Saber or my Saber? Wait. What?
Yes.
Wait. Who's the mascot of the Fate series?
Arteria.
There you go. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. That's
getting taken away in handcuffs.
That's why Nero will be there. Take the pick of the slack.
Anyways,
Nier, do you have that picture of Saber being arrested and leaving Brexit?
No, I don't.
Damn, I thought I got that from you. All right.
Anyways, last piece of news before we move on to a little bit of people stuff. The official website for Kadokawa's Dengeki Bunko magazine revealed on Wednesday that the magazine is switching from bi-monthly, which is every other month, release format, to a seasonal release, which is every 3 months format. The next issue, the magazine's August issue, will ship on July 10th. So Dengeki Bunko, I don't think anybody even mildly attuned to general light novel franchises will obviously know what Dengeki Bunko is.
Wasn't that a fighting game? Yeah.
Yeah, fighting game. Yeah.
When's the Isekai fighting game?
Please.
What is it? Kadokawa Fighting Climax Quartet?
Kadokawa Fighting Climax. That'd be pretty interesting. But anyways, this is, I guess, another further step away from, physical copies, physical magazines kind of being shipped out from the old model to kind of shutting that down and, doing more digitalization, right? I'm betting that Dengeki Bunko within, I want to say, 2 years, will probably move on to a pure digital format as well. So we'll see how that goes, but more of the same here. Now, some very fortunate people news here for the most part. First, the staff of voice actress Arisa Komiya announced on Thursday that she'll go on a hiatus due to acute allergic reaction. After she had developed symptoms, she underwent an allergy examination. Doctors diagnosed her with severe hives due to a suspected acute allergy and prescribed 2 weeks of rest and recuperation. So this person plays Dia Kurosawa in the Love Live Sunshine franchise, and her other roles include Sarah and Gara Garo Divine Flame, and Urara Kusakabe in Star Blazer's Space Battleship Yamato 2202. So please wish her a fast recovery. Very unfortunate. Next piece of news. This is continuing from the stuff that we covered in the podcast a couple of episodes back. From a couple of episodes back. The official website of the NGT48 Idol Group announced on Thursday that the group's current 2 teams will be dissolved after final performances this month, and the group is quote-unquote restarting as first-generation members and new members in training. So this is NGT48 is part of the scandal that happened where it was like one of the, I believe the vice captain or the captain member, like Yamaguchi Maho, was apparently assaulted, and the assault was in part driven by the other members of the NGT48 Idol team, and then that sort of went all the way to the top because there was a series of cover-ups, and that led all the way to this. So very, very unfortunate that this happened again. It's also very a public display of obviously the dark side of the Japanese idol industry, and I guess how far the people on top are willing to go to kind of just cover this up instead of really kind of admitting their shame, kind of taking the blame, kind of taking their licks, right? So it is very, very unfortunate that this all happened. But it is what it is. Yeah, actually, she the reason Session was like, I apologize for being insulted, but the reason apparently why she didn't want to come out was because she was afraid that the news of this would affect the other NGT48 members, and well, in the end it did. So again, very, very unfortunate. Next piece of news: Lupin III manga creator Monkey Punch, the real name being Kazuhiko Kato, passed away on April 11th due to pneumonia at the age of 81. So he received various honors through his life. Obviously, I don't think I need to talk about Lupin in Japan, really. But he did pass away about 5 days ago. So please wish his friends and family condolences. A couple of other pieces of news here. Hiroaki Iwano, a producer on Square Enix's Million Arthur franchise, announced during a live stream event on Saturday that he left Square Enix at the end of March. Iwano said that he has begun, quote-unquote, a new challenge this month and noted that he is not involved with the franchise's development for some time. He said that the franchise has producers such as Million Arthur Arcana Blood producer Naofumi Takuma and Kairi Sei Million Arthur managing producer Suzuki to handle the franchise. So he's moving on. Please wish him the best of luck in his new projects. And the final piece of news, the Twitter account for the prolific manga creator Kazuo Koike announced on Friday that he passed away from pneumonia again on Wednesday at the age of 82. So again, please wish his family and friends condolences. So he was most notably known for his samurai theme manga, Lone Wolf and Cub. There were some other stuff that he did. He did Samurai Executioner, Crying Freeman, Lady Snowblood, Mad Bull 34, so on and so forth. So, again, please wish his family and friends condolences. But anyways, with that all being said, we are finally on to the shoutouts and callouts. So, again, everybody here gets one shoutout and one callout. The shoutout is one thing that you want to praise, give 10 out of 10, talk up, compare to heavenly delights, and it can be any one person, place, or thing. And the shout out is to, the call out, is to one thing that you want to rant about. 0 out of 10, you hate it with every fiber of your being, and it can be any one person, place, or thing. Now, the honor of going first goes to Dark.
Okay, I'm mostly prepared. So my shout out is going to be to Carol and Tuesday and its soundtrack because it's really good. Even like not the insert songs, like just the regular soundtrack.
Yeah.
Is very, very nice. I'm really liking that series.
It's one of those things where it's like you kind of expect it to be nice, but then you're also like, I'm glad it is nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think my one complaint about it so far has just been that like there's some parts that are a little bit questionable with how the faces are that close to the screen
Yeah.
or that close to like the shot, but either way, I mean, still think it's quite good and the soundtrack is really really nice. So,
Hmm.
uh, really great stuff. Can't wait for that to come out. Um, hopefully don't have to wait the full length of both fours or all 24 episodes and like, at least half of it comes out. Do like
Hmm.
a two-part OST. Uh, or they just eventually, over time release like the insert songs as they come along. But yeah, uh, so my call out is going to be to JC staff. Um, they've been doing some very interesting shit, huh? One Punch Man season 2, uh, just looks bad. There's no getting around it. There's no arguing otherwise. Like it just doesn't look good. Uh, and honestly, like I was like even with how One Punch Man like
You're just a JC
was
staff hater.
inconsistent. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Dark.
yeah. No, because like with what JC Staff has been doing, it's like why like there's really no excuse. Like why take on One Punch Man? Like if you're just gonna be like scumbags essentially and
Yeah.
fucking just shit out just whatever you want to call
Disappointment. Shit out
the audio
disappointment.
yeah, whatever you want to call those audio visuals for season 2 because they're not good by any standard. Like they're very bad.
Yeah.
Like backgrounds are very clearly CG. And don't match any sort of like coloring or shading of the characters. I was telling Nier, I was getting like flashbacks of like Alice Tizurica, like first episode,
Yep.
but like, for episode 1 and 2 of One Punch Man season 2. So chances are it's not going to improve like Alice Tizurica did. Nier also did point out episode 1, which I had forgotten, had like, 30 studios on it for that show. So
Dark, listen. JC staff was busy, all right. They spent all the budget they had on Data Live season 3.
Here's the thing, right?
Where
Data
are
Live
they
season
going?
3 didn't look very good, right?
Yeah.
So Data Live season 3 didn't look good. Index season 3 didn't look good and had to be improved with BDs and is now like pretty standard. And then they make One Punch Man season 2 and it's like you see that and now I watched the the PV for the Accelerator anime. Looks really good. Like actually looks pretty good. So like it's some of the short amount of like CG for one of the mechs they showed in that PV is some of the best CG they've done. And just looks I would say it looks pretty good. It's pretty well blended for like just in general. So it's like what are you doing with these projects that you're just churning them out and they just look this bad for very
They're just
major
not
series?
handling. They're just not handling.
They have a lot on their plate, Dark. What else? You mentioned
stop having that much on their plate.
You mentioned Accelerator, right? Then they got the Isekai Mom one coming up. Then they got what is it? Danmachi season 2 and High School Girl season 2. Then Railgun 3. They got a lot on their plate.
Yeah,
Maybe they should not
but
put.
The thing is, they either shouldn't put as much on their fucking plate, or like just what like I don't know. Like to me, it's not. It might not even be like the amount they have on their plate because it's very strange, right?
It's just like how the stuff.
Manchu season 2 looked pretty damn good, and that
It
released
just might
in the
be
same
general like
season as two
animator
other shows.
habits, and more, or just like animator like lazy animator habits and stuff like that. And
Yeah, it just seems like these series like they just wanted to shit out and get them over with.
yeah,
Like, it seems to me more of like less they have so much on their plate, but more of they just don't fucking care about One Punch Man enough. Like they scooped up the IP, like the rights to do season 2, and we're like, okay, well, let's just fucking
Well,
make whatever.
Yeah.
well, it's not really within their standard zone, is it? One Punch Man is
What?
this
I
shonen
mean,
thing?
there are still like animations. Well, I mean, JC
Look,
Staff.
The JC Staff
No,
doesn't
JC
have a
Staff.
zone. JC Staff can
Yeah,
do
JC's
whatever the hell
whatever.
they
Yeah.
want because they'll make like they'll adapt any style.
It's not like we're asking Doga Koba
into,
to
like,
do
standard,
One Punch Man.
You know? Yeah, like JC Staff is pretty damn versatile. Like if they can do Index and all these shows and then, turn around and do a Manchu and make that look really good. I'm pretty sure they should be able to handle One Punch Man.
Yeah.
Like I just said, like the Accelerator anime is coming out and it looks good. Like the PV looked really good.
Yeah.
So chances are the show's gonna look good because even for like One Punch Man, PV looked pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know, it's really interesting and very strange as to what the hell is going on at JC Staff and why they're doing this. But I mean, very rarely I feel like do we even like learn more about these things for Japanese companies, but if we were able to, this would be one of the ones that I would really like to know more about.
Yeah.
Like insider info, though we'll probably never get it.
Yeah. On that note, I would actually like to go next, and on a very similar note, I would like to actually shout out H Kubuyama. So this link I'm actually going to post on in chat here, so you guys can all see it. But essentially, he was a key animator in the Gotobu no Hanayome, or the quintessential quintuplets anime. He was a key animator on like one or a couple of the episodes, and he actually tweeted, 1 or 2 weeks ago, criticizing the layout in the anime he animated for. He called out the anime he was trying to animate, and this is like kind of similar to what Dark was talking about, where he's just like, just kind of look at this. This all just like, a lot of this just seems copy pasted. It seems very lazy, and all these sort of perspectives are wrong, and they're very just bad habits that animators picked off. Not because the animators know what they're doing, but because they just kind of just saw it and they're just like, oh, let's just do the same thing here, and these sort of bad habits are proliferating. So, good on him to call it out, but obviously it's like it reeks of obviously how maybe not just in smaller studios and maybe more strapped studios that are more strapped for time and labor, but even in bigger places like JC Staff, people are struggling because they're kind of picking up on these habits. You know what I mean? So it is very unfortunate. The call out.
This reminds me of the one show they did where they would basically the staff was like begging for help in the credits.
Yeah.
Oh, that was My Sister, My Writer, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just very unfortunate. But again, good on this guy for at least calling it out, even if it's not like he's calling out something else. He was working on this series, so it's like they can't really say anything. But anyways, my call out is honestly to people who. What I want to say is that I want to call out the people who supported Grisaya Phantom Trigger, because the idea is like so many people, especially in the West, supported Grisaya Phantom Trigger because of how like Front Wing kind of sold it as like it's a return to the background premise of Grisaya, which is all these like secret government agencies that are working, and then all these people that are connected by these secret government agencies that are working to do XYZ. I'm just like, that wasn't the reason why I liked Grisaya in the first place. I don't think that was the reason why anybody liked Grisaya in the first place. In fact, all these government agencies causing stupid problems, like Japan, to the point where it's like the kids needed to save Japan because of these government agencies. I don't think really, like, nobody really liked it because the scale of the problems were so disproportionate to what the kids were facing in the first place. So I really dislike the fact that Grisaya and Frontwing and the quote-unquote fans of Grisaya really try to push this aspect of it. And instead of just making a more regular visual novel where the girls have sort of similar issues, but they're not backed by random government agencies. Pio's like, but Yuji is the coolest. This is true. He is the government agency sleeper agent trained sniper that we all deserve. But yeah, I just fuck off. Just give me a regular like visual novel without all this government agency spying, intergovernmental, international agency sniper stuff, and I'll be fine with it. Okay, like we can have personal problems without needing to save Japan. Okay, that's fine. So that was just my call out. But yeah, next on the list, Nier. What have you got for us?
Big question. I don't know. You know, it's tricky, right? Because I guess I'll do my call out first.
Okay.
I'm gonna do. I don't know. This feels so negative, but call outs to just the fact that I feel like I haven't watched something anime wise that in a very long time I feel that really feels like experimental, like really putting itself out
I can
there,
understand that. No, yeah.
right?
Well,
I feel like
you haven't seen something that has a wacky premise, but then it kind of commits through it in a good way instead of making it just flaccid.
not even wacky premises, like different forms of animation or different methods of storytelling, right? Like
Okay.
different perspectives, different chronology or something, right? Like just something different, right? I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's been a really long time since I've watched something that's come out of the anime industry that's really been like truly experimental,
Mm-hmm.
something that's just like, out there, like just weird. Like, I can watch stuff that's like, it's a nice breath of fresh air, like I was like, Kuni or something, that really impresses me. But like even that, it's experimental in its animation, right? Which was really nice.
Right, exactly.
But I don't know. It's just I want something that's like that really blows me away, and obviously
You mean like Hoseki
every...
no Kuni kind of stuff? Or
well,
like...
not. I mean, I don't really just want another Hoseki no Kuni, right?
No. What I'm saying is like in terms of like impact, you wanted something like Hoseki.
Yeah, I guess. And I understand that's obviously a lot to ask for.
Well, you can't get it every day.
Can't come every season, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
you could try a little bit harder.
Yeah, I feel like there should be something every season that tries to be that,
Right, exactly. No, I get you.
It's not been happening, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not really something that you can't really blame anybody for that, but like, I don't know. I just want I want something fresh this year, man. I want something big.
Yeah.
And I haven't.
I mean, at least this season is better for that, or it's more.
Yeah, this season's solid. I mean, I have to see how Sarazanmai pans out.
Yeah.
I feel like that one's got a lot of potential, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want something to be like, wow. I want something to really knock my socks off, and I haven't gotten that in a long time.
The issue is it's also becoming, I think, harder not not necessarily because of the whole like how people always point to like the whole like fake culture of like everybody just wants to play the safe game now, blah blah, and it's that sort of like culture because that's where the money is, blah blah, and that might be true in some sense, but it's much less quantifiable. But I think what is quantifiable is that we know that for sure. Again, studios right now are under a lot of stress, right? A lot of strain, in terms of producing anything, right? Literally just like anything. We just heard the news about production IG and IG port in general, and add to that, there are obviously more and more sequels as time goes on because there are more and more stuff like continuing series and more big series, stuff like that. So studios are having to juggle stuff like new adaptations, sequels, whatever, and they're always having to produce obviously every season because they need to make money, right? Consistent money. So doing all of that pressure really fucks with their ability to do creative stuff, right? And even stuff like who did Banana Fish again?
Mappa.
Mappa, yeah.
Mappa, yeah. Even like Mappa, they're a lot of times they're reduced to not doing a lot of series throughout the year, right? And even then, they're really kind of trying to pick, I want to say, different series more than they are necessarily different animation techniques to work on, if you get what I mean. So it's a lot of them are getting stretched very thin, and it's very, very unfortunate for them. But I mean, they still have an obligation to try. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm not saying that they're justified in not doing so. They should do so because it's still an artistic medium, right? They're selling it, but it's still a medium that needs to be worked on, right? You're not like, oh, this is the best artist of the time. Let's just not try to be better than him, right? That's not how that works, right? You always try to be better, but it is right now it's a very untenable situation for everybody, and it's a very, very unfortunate thing.
Hey Spire. Hey Spire.
Yeah.
Name one bad Mappa series.
One bad Mappa series?
TQ does not count. It had, 9 seasons?
Yeah, it doesn't count because it had 9 seasons.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Didn't Mappa do that fucking series from the guy who did
Zankyo no Terror and Resonance, dude. That was terrible.
well, not only that, what was there was that recent one guy who did oh fuck, why can't I think of the original series that he did? Oh, the Gantz guy? That robot one?
Inuyashiki.
Yeah,
No,
that was very
Inuyashiki.
good.
Yeah.
Yuri on Ice.
Yuri on Ice.
Yuri on Ice sells products.
I want to stay a little bit. it's like I'm going to stay away from Yuri on Ice because I don't because people are gonna call me a homophobe. It's like
No Bahamas season 2.
Shingeki no Bahamut.
Kaki Gary's good. Dororo's good.
I don't know.
Zombieland Saga's good. Ushio and Tora.
But I mean,
Ippo Rising. I don't know, man.
But I mean, there are plenty. I mean, there are definitely at least a few series that I could. I mean, again, the cleanest one I can name is just like, other than the TQ, would be Zankyo no Terror. Zankyo no Terror was not good. It was not defendable. It was not good.
Name one studio that has a perfect track record other than UFO Table.
Well, that's not the question you asked me. So
as we talked about in the news, UFO Table does not have a perfect track record.
UFO Table has a pretty bad track record against earthquakes and charities, my friends. So,
well,
anyway.
that's because they're what is it near? They're human, so they're weak to Enuma Elish. Is that what it's called?
Is Enuma Elish taking the form of taxes?
Yeah.
In the form of taxes and earthquakes, because earthquakes are basically the earth trying to destroy itself, and Enuma Elish is a world-breaking noble phantasm, is it not?
Also, Toast, UFO Table has a terrible track record. They made fucking God Eater.
Oh yeah, I forgot they made God Eater.
But Nier, have you seen the Tale series? Have you seen Token
Yeah, they
Rambu?
look like shit.
Have you seen Unlimited Blade Works? I don't know, man.
Jesus. I forgot God Eater was a thing.
Have you seen UFO Roid Valkyrie? Is that what? That's UFO Table.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, anyways, this is not here nor there, so we should probably move on. Toast. What is your shout out and call out?
I didn't do my shout out.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Near, what's your shout out?
It's okay. I don't have a shout out.
Okay, everything is dead and
Near, I
depressing.
believe in you. You can do a second call out. Don't leave us hanging.
Please do a shout out.
Don't leave us hanging.
Like I don't know. Let me open this again. Shoutouts to where is it? I just had it open. Shoutouts to fuck, I lost it. There it is. So shoutouts to what is it? Ryukishi, the guy who made Higurashi and Echo.
Yes.
Okay. He's making a new visual novel, right?
Nice.
Who's the soundtrack dude?
It's the same guy, I think.
Good.
And they announced at SakuraCon,
Kikima.
yeah, that what is it? Manga Gamer is going to be working to do a simultaneous Western release.
That's really
Ooh.
good. That's really good.
Which is very impressive.
That's solid.
It's very nice to see that visual novels
Mhm.
are trying to work towards the dream that is simultaneous worldwide releases.
And I think also right now the spread of fan translations, the different localization companies that are taking over, and it's very it's not like one monopoly. It's not like Crunchyroll is trying to swallow everything up, where it's like you're like, what the fuck do we do? It's pretty competitive right now, so it's very healthy too.
Yeah.
Who are they gonna compete with? DL site? Taku, Faku? It's not very competitive, is it?
No, I mean there are
DL site is
different
the biggest
small
ones.
companies. It's not just like what I'm saying is localization.
Oh.
Localization.
Sekai
So-
Project?
Yeah, what I'm saying is Senko Project is like they have a lot of stuff out there, but so do there are plenty of other companies or other localization teams and companies that are also putting their stuff out there. So
You mean like the company that does the machine translated Chinese Sakura Quest or the Sakura game stuff? Wow, the competition.
dude, you know what I'm talking about, but yeah, it's much better at least than Crunchyroll trying to swallow up everything. But anyways, thank you for your shoutouts, callouts, Near, and Toast. Last but not least,
Me, right? My shout out.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the thing called? PSO2. Yeah, my shout out
yes.
is the PSO2 and DFO for having the same update on the same day. So I can't play either one of their games.
Yeah, is that how that works?
Yeah, I get Fiend War and Phantom all on the same day. Whoop-de-doo.
Okay, and your
And Infinity Wars this week. Next week. Yeah. Tomorrow. Next week's gonna be a busy week. Yeah.
You mean Endgame?
Avengers Infinity War Endgame Part 2, yeah.
Shut up.
okay. What
Or no,
about
it's Part 2 Endgame. There you go.
and what is your call out?
My call out is to Disney.
Ah, yes.
For?
Would you like to elaborate?
So there was some piece of news brought up where Disney is planning to buy Nexon. And Nexon's got that big dick energy with Korean and Chinese and
The Dragon Energy.
all the good games.
I don't.
Nexon bought Gravity, the company that made RO, and Nexon does stuff with Tencent. They're the big one to watch out for. And what is this timeline where Disney's taking over everything?
Yeah, it's
It's been
definitely
like
a little
that
bit.
for a
It's
while.
definitely it's been a slow oncoming, but it's very
Like I got some Dikai Yabai energy off of this off of this transaction. I don't like it. I do not like this at all. Stay away from my Korean games, man. And
Well, Disney's trying to kind of, I think, just feel out kind of stuff. Just
Disney's dipping their hands into many sinister soups in here.
sinister soups.
I don't like that.
But yeah, we'll see how it pans out.
As
But anyway.
as long as it doesn't affect my games, then we're good. But if it does, then old man Disney will have some explaining to do.
Yeah. Well, again, we'll see how it pans out. But it's pretty interesting.
What if Disney buys Square? Will that make Kingdom Hearts real?
Disney starts negotiating with Tencent to start trading off random companies and shit. But anyways, with that said, again, thank you very much for your shout out and call out, Toast. That said, we are finally at the end of the part 2 of our spring 2019 anime previews. Pio said Thanos event DFO. But anyways, we are done with the second part again. For this is right now we're just covering sort of the lighter series. Obviously, we did already cover some big names here, but next couple of episodes we're going to try to cover sort of, I want to say, the more involved series, the less episodic series if possible. So we'll be going through that. We'll obviously cover more big names as time goes on. A lot of pretty good series that we'll want to go through this season. So please do check out those episodes as well. And if you do like what we do, we stream our recording of the podcast every other Saturday starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. That's with the number 4. You can check us out here. Follow us here for when our streams go live, and as well as on our social media on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook 4PlayerAnimecast, Twitter handle at 4PPAnimecast, and with the number 4. Check us out for updates. Check us out for where we're presenting various events materials. You can check out our previous VODs on our Twitch channel, of course, as well as on our YouTube channel, 4PlayerAnimecast. So check us out here, check us out there, where we talk about the latest and greatest in anime, manga, light novels, visual novels, web novels, and all sorts of other Japanese animation-related media. So yeah, that's it for now. Again, we'll be doing a little bit more, of the big series next time. But with that, we'll see you next time.